Chapter 2084. Since Grand Elder Yi has made such a decision, won't the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple attack the Medicine Valley's territory? An elder asked. If you're afraid of a fight now, then don't occupy it in the first place. Don't tell me I'm supposed to be your guard? Don't think that I'm being calculative with you. I can afford the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple's territory. Just say the word, and I can make the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple withdraw from the Eastern Xian domain. They'll live better than you. But let me tell you, one day, the Medicine Valley will only be left under the protection of me, Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow looked at the elder he didn't know and was a little angry. There are no disciples in the Medicine Valley who are afraid of a fight. Get out. Yu Yangyu's sleeves shook, and the elder was shaken out of the meeting hall. Grand Elder Yi, are you trying to cut ties with the Medicine Valley? Lin Jingyi stood up and said, Shut up. I've been giving in to you in the past because you're a pitiful person. Who do you think your Lin family is? You dare to occupy the Thunder Rumbling sect's territory. If you say any more nonsense, I'll kill you without any guilt. Yang Lei pulled out her sword and pointed it at Lin Jingyi. Yi Shang didn't say anything. He didn't remember there being a Lin family in the past. But now, the Lin family was very famous in the Eastern Xian region because of their large numbers. In addition, there were some detailed records in the Celestial Peak Tower. One of them had happened in Bamboo Garden City. In Bamboo Garden City, the cultivators who passed by the Valiant Bravery Memorial Archway in Bamboo Garden Village were very respectful. Those who rode on demon beasts would get off on foot, and those who rode on beast carriages would get off. However, the Lin family's disciples didn't want to. This angered the Yi family, and a conflict broke out. And the old 9. Yu Yangyu shook his head at Yang Lei. Lin Jingyi, you better behave yourself today. Let me tell you, no one will give you face anymore. Yang Lei looked at Lin Jingyi and threw a sentence at her before sitting down. I've been asleep for 700 years, and you've been messing around for these 700 years. I, Night Sorrow, have an ancestral home in Bamboo Garden Village, and your Lin family almost destroyed it. I don't mind, but I'll think about it. If your Lin family doesn't even give face to my Yi family, will you give face to others? I, Night Sorrow, have always respected the martial uncles, senior brothers and sisters of the Medicine Valley, but what have you done? Do as you see fit. July Ningyan, come to Sky City later. Night Sorrow stood up and left with Yang Lei and Aoi. The road ahead is up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. Yu Yangyu led the people from Taishian Peak out of the meeting hall. After half a day, the Commander-in-Chief of the 9 Regions World announced Night Sorrow's Realm Lord Order. The Realm Lord Order was written by Night Sorrow himself. It was about his own requirements and arrangements. He wouldn't participate in or interfere with any power struggle within the 9 Regions world, but because of his background, he would protect Pill Cauldron Mountain and Night Moon's Imperial Court. As for Sky City, he didn't mention it. Whoever had the ability could fight it. The key was who had the ability to fight it, and who had the ability to do so. After issuing the Realm Lord Order, Night Sorrow went to the God-Slaying Team's base in 9 Regions City. When Night Sorrow arrived, the members of the God-Slaying Team gathered together. Looking at the brothers in front of him, Night Sorrow bowed. Ho Jian Liyue, Lei Bao Lei Zheng, it was I, Night Sorrow, who didn't handle things properly and let the Nanda sect, Thunder Rumbling sect, and Holy Light Temple be suppressed. Captain, you think too much. The Nanda clan doesn't fight. It's fine as long as they can maintain their inheritance, Nan Liyue said with a smile. It's my responsibility to let the Nanda sect become the Nanda clan. It's the responsibility of the Medicine Valley. If the Nanda clan has any ideas, you can tell me. I'll make some appropriate compensation, Night Sorrow said. Captain, every power has a mix of good and bad members. There are always black sheep. Last time at the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony, Nankong of the Nanda clan is an example, Nan Liyue said. Captain, we didn't say these things because we didn't think it was a big deal. With pressure comes motivation. Now the Thunder Rumbling sect has king and many holy kings. In essence, they have improved a lot, Lei Bao said with a smile. It's the same for Holy Light Temple. I told them that the size of the territory and the number of disciples are not the key to measuring the level of a sect. The key is the foundation and level of the members. Ho Jian said to Night Sorrow. When they heard about the Realm Master's order, they knew what was going on. In fact, they really didn't mind. You're talking about compensation? You're treating us brothers as outsiders. If there really is a crisis of annihilation and we really can't handle it, we'll tell you, because you can shelter us from the wind and rain, Leijing said with a smile. Thank you for understanding me, brothers. I have nothing else to say, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Night Sorrow stayed in Nine Regions City and didn't leave. Then, more news came through the channels of Tianji Tower. These years, Tianji Tower had been developing, but not in the area of power. Instead, they focused on the elites. The various families of Medicine Valley members had taken the initiative to give up their territory and apologize to the Nandu clan, Thunder clan, and Holy Light Temple. Without the support of Night Sorrow and Medicine Valley, these families were *T. If they wanted to fight, they could only take the beating. The reason was there. Medicine Valley's mountain gate wouldn't be attacked, and Night Sorrow wouldn't fight. However, the Nanda clan had Heavenly Lord Nan Liyue, the Holy Light Temple had Heavenly Lord Ho Jian, and the Thunder clan was even more ruthless. They already had Emperor Lei Bao and Heavenly Lord Lei Zheng. Although the Medicine Valley had Xiang Tianding in addition to Night Sorrow, there were still strong people in the God-slaying team. If Night Sorrow didn't interfere, Nan Liyue, Ho Jian Lei Bao, and Lei Zheng would fight for Emperor without a problem. Besides, Xiang Tianding wouldn't help the evildoers. Therefore, the families that were good at fighting for territory weren't stupid. They knew that if they took the initiative, they could still save some face. The patriarch and elders of the Lin family found Lin Jingyi and asked how to deal with it. Lin Jingyi was originally an orphan. Later, she was found by her family. She should have found her family on her own. Then the Lin family began to develop. Lin Jingyi threw a tantrum at the people from her family. She asked the family to only keep the necessary areas and return the rest to the Thunder clan. The movement in the Eastern Xian domain was very big. It could be said that there was a big reshuffle in hundreds of years. Many of the members supported the reshuffling this time. Those who were affected were only the selfish elders and guardians. The upper echelons and ordinary disciples who truly had the Medicine Valley's best interests at heart, that is, the true cultivators, were not affected much. Night Sorrow received the news but didn't say anything. He hoped that the nine-domain world would have a good environment for development. Currently, the forces in the nine-domain world were very self-disciplined. Only the Medicine Valley was barely satisfactory. After this was settled, the problem wouldn't be big. A month later, the reshuffle was over. The Nanda clan, the Thunder clan, and the Holy Light sect, who didn't want to take over the territory, took back the territory after receiving the notice from Lei Bao and the others. After the reshuffle, Hua Yunpeng, Yu Yangyu, the Great Elder, and Gong Xian came to see Night Sorrow. They told him about the changes in the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with the result. Chapter 2085. In other words, Night Sorrow was very disappointed in them and didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Night Sorrow still understood the principle of staying away from a petty person. After looking up some information, Night Sorrow knew that Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi had some fundamental problems. Some people, some things, if you miss them, you miss them. There will be no more interactions. Lin Jingyi will no longer exist in his world. Lin Jingyi said after leaving Nine Regions City. Senior sister knows that you have always liked him, but back then, you thought that he was too young and his cultivation was too low. He wasn't good enough for you. After you kicked him out, you kicked yourself out of his world. Alright. It's true that you want to improve yourself and develop your family, but we both took the wrong path, Tang Qianqian said. You really don't want to see him? Xueshi, who was sitting with Night Sorrow, asked with a smile. No. By the way, how's your Silver Devil family? I haven't asked about it all these years, Night Sorrow said. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. It's declined. Currently, only Yi Lingxi and I have the bloodline of the Silver Devil family. Hehe, would you be willing to let Yi Lingxi continue the Silver Devil family? There's no point in talking about it. Everything is fine now, and that's enough. Xuexi smiled. You're right, but it's up to the child to make her own choice. Also, I'm sorry that I haven't cared enough about you all these years. Don't just focus on cultivating, Night Sorrow said to Xuexi. I don't have any friends, so when you're cultivating, I'm cultivating to pass the time. Look at my cultivation now, isn't it great? Xuexi showed her cultivation. I just want you to live a happy life. Nothing else is important. Maybe we weren't perfect at the beginning, but I really love you now, just like everyone else, said Yishan. You're right. Xuexi sat beside Night Sorrow and leaned on Night Sorrow. I'm very happy now. I have a husband who loves me and a son who's capable. It would be even better if we could have a few more children. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't say anything else. He knew that Xuexi was really happy now. The 9-domain world's tribulation was officially over, and the evil spirit world dispersed, becoming nourishment for the 9-domain world, nourishment for its ascension to a greater world. After everything was settled, Night Sorrow also planned to leave. He could not ignore the matters of the celestial realm. He still had a lot of things to take care of. City Lord Taishu, let's not talk about the past. From now on, the 9 regions world will develop normally. There are some things that you will have to worry about. Before Night Sorrow left, he first went to find Taishu Yan, Yin Tianlong, Yiling Huan and the others. Following which, Night Sorrow led the god-slaying squad to Starmoon City. In Starmoon City, Night Sorrow was stunned when he saw the green-clothed youth. That was because that was the aura of a golden body Holy Spirit. I'm a golden body Holy Spirit. After eating the pill refined by the heavenly Tao flower, my body has been reborn, said the golden body Holy Spirit, who was already a peak imperial emperor. Very good, that's great. Seeing the golden body Holy Spirit's current appearance, Night Sorrow was very happy. He knew that the golden body Holy Spirit's previous life was the virtuous king. In this life, Night Sorrow hoped that he could live a better life. After Night Sorrow met Lu Qi, he paid a visit to the Qing Emperor. Master, disciple has been busy and did not come to pay a visit. Master, please don't mind. Seeing the Qing Emperor, Night Sorrow felt a little apologetic. He knew that the Qing Emperor had invested a lot of effort in him. The fact that he had only taken in 2 disciples in his lifetime showed that there was a problem. Master understands you. Master was just like you when he was young. Naturally, it takes time to conquer the world. When you are done and have time, come and accompany Master for tea. Of course, Master might go out one day. You should know that Master is the Emperor. The road is still very long, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. After chatting with the Qing Emperor for a while, Night Sorrow left. He was not worried about Starmoon City. Lu Qi liked this place, and was willing to help Night Sorrow look after this place. After Night Sorrow left, Lu Qi appeared at the Qing Emperor's residence. He was anxious to confirm one thing, and that was Night Sorrow's cultivation. When Night Sorrow came to find him, he did not pay attention. After Night Sorrow left, he vaguely felt that Night Sorrow was an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator. After arriving at the Night Moon Villa of the Misty Dynasty, Night Sorrow led the members of the god-slaying team to rest. Everyone was tired during this period of time. Moreover, the members had been separated for a while. They had just arrived and needed to gather. Night Sorrow, you have matured. Lin Piaomiao came to the waterside pavilion and pulled Night Sorrow to sit down. Then she brewed a pot of tea. Sister Xian Er, why do you say that? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. In the past, you were emotional and lacked rationality. You did things based on your emotions. If the Medicine Valley continues on its original path, you will not be able to support it in the future. Cutting off the rotten branches and leaves may be a little painful, but the tree can still grow normally, Lin Piaomiao said. Then Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow some things about her era. Her family was unbearable. She watched as her family declined bit by bit. The times were actually like sand being washed away by waves. It is a good thing to change now. It is better than going out of control in the future. Some people in the Medicine Valley think that since you were born in the Medicine Valley, you should do anything for them. They can be lawless because they have no bottom line, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. It was actually quite difficult to make this decision, because I was afraid that master and senior brothers would be unhappy. It is not that I, Night Sorrow, forgot my roots just because I am doing better. It is just that some people have crossed the line to the point where they can no longer restrain themselves. Night Sorrow sighed. This is the bad side that you see. You also have to pay attention to the good side. How about our Yi family Night Moon dynasty? Their strength is recognized as the #1 force in the 9 regions world. They are also the most famous, but they never bully others. Tianji Tower is the same. These years, Tianji Tower has been very self-disciplined. They focus on increasing the strength of their members instead of using connections to develop their forces. This is the good side, Lin Piaomiao said. She felt that the 9 regions world was not bad. Although there were some incidents, the overall situation was very stable, and the development was very healthy. Night Sorrow nodded. He was not disappointed in the 9 regions world, because of what happened in the Medicine Valley. It was just a one-sided matter. Night Sorrow, you might not know. Now Tianhuang City is not peaceful. The Demon Wing clan often comes to challenge us. Now they like to play gentlemen's battles, Lin Piaomiao said. What do you mean? I don't really understand. Night Sorrow was a little confused. It is the battle situation. A few days ago, an emperor of the Demon Wing clan came to challenge us. We could only send our emperor. But because we were not strong enough, 2 of us were killed. Then, the emperor of the Demon Wing clan retreated, leaving us a bunch of disgusting people. Lin Piaomiao said something that Night Sorrow did not know. Chapter 2086. You don't have any other ideas, do you? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow seriously. She knew that Night Sorrow was a warmonger deep in his bones. It's not that I have any other ideas. The Nirvana Ocean Bridge is where I cultivate. How can I cultivate if they come to challenge me so often? So I plan to block the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they come, I'll fight. If they don't, I'll cultivate. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. Your soul power has fused into that world. Cultivating your force there is indeed twice the result with half the effort. You can't give up on that place. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew Night Sorrow's situation very well. While Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were chatting, Qin Qianjie walked out of the teleportation array. Night Sorrow was a little surprised. He stood up to greet him. He didn't know what had happened because Qin Qianjie wouldn't have come if there wasn't something. 7th Sect Elder really saw through me. Seeing Night Sorrow, Qin Qianjie first confirmed Night Sorrow's cultivation. Since Enforcer Patriarch Qin has come to the ethereal Imperial City, something must have happened in the heavenly desolate city, Yi Shang greeted. It's nothing. 7th Sect Elder asked me to check your cultivation level. He only found out that there was something wrong with your cultivation level after you left Xingyue City. He didn't confirm it at that time, so he asked me to come. Emperor Tribulation Cultivator. I didn't expect you to reach the Emperor Tribulation Cultivator level. We haven't seen each other for a while. Qin Qianjie's eyes didn't leave Night Sorrow. Sect Elder Qin, don't look at me like that. I'm not used to it. Come, let's sit down and have some tea. Night Sorrow invited Qin Qianjie to sit down. If I remember correctly, you haven't reached 1,000 years of lifespan yet. This achievement is really shocking. Qin Qianjie took a sip of tea and said after sitting down. I had no choice. The 9 domain world's tribulation is here. The strongest cultivator in the tribulation is at the peak of the Emperor Tribulation. He can't come out because of the geographical advantage. I can only think of a way to break through and resolve the 9 domain world's tribulation, Yi Shan explained. When are you going to the heavenly desolate city? I have to go back and pass on the news. The 7th Sect Elder and the Grand Elder are waiting for me. After drinking the tea, Qin Qianjie stood up. I'll go over later. I'll spend the next few days with my brothers. They're pretty tired from fighting the 9 domains world's tribulation. Night Sorrow said. He did not want to make things so irritable. Everyone had a life to live, and so did the members of the God-slaying team. When Qin Qianjie returned to the heavenly desolate city, he went straight to the 7th Patriarch's residence. At this moment, the Grand Elder was also there. Are you sure? The Grand Elder asked anxiously. It wasn't that the Grand Elder wasn't calm enough. It was just that this matter was very important. It wasn't hard for Monarch Realm to reach Monarch Realm because it was just a small leap. It was all about comprehending the power of heaven and earth. However, it was different from Monarch Realm to Monarch Realm. It was a big leap. It was easy for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it, but it was difficult for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it. Many people wouldn't be able to take this step in their entire lives. How long did the Heavenly Tao give for the arrival of Monarch Realm cultivators? It was 100 billion years. It meant that the Heavenly Tao said that it would take 100 billion years to reach the Monarch Realm. Difficult, extremely difficult. In the Celestial Realm, there were only a few Monarch Realm cultivators. They were all the higher-ups of the 100 Races Alliance. The Grand Elder cared about Night Sorrow's level mainly because Night Sorrow was a human sovereign. His achievements would affect the human race and the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. I'm sure. He's in Monarch Realm cultivator. His aura is profound and has a very strong pressure. Qin Qianjie gave an accurate answer. What kind of power of heaven and earth did he cultivate to perfection? The Grand Elder asked again. At this time, Qin Qianjie's face was a little red. Grand Elder. His energy doesn't leak out, and all kinds of energy in his body are constantly circulating. I can't be sure. The Grand Elder shook his head. He knew that Qin Qianjie couldn't do this. Night Sorrow's attributes were very high. Not everyone could detect them. If one's cultivation wasn't higher than Night Sorrow's, they would be suppressed. Grand Elder, don't worry. He'll probably come back in a few days. He'll be fine after the 9 regions world's tribulation, Qin Qianjie said. There are new talents in every generation. In this period, he's the leader. The others, the elites of the 100 races, can't compare to him. The Grand Elder's face was full of joy. As long as Night Sorrow entered the Monarch Realm, he would be happy. Even if he couldn't be sure if it was the Monarch Realm. Night Sorrow stayed in the ethereal imperial city for a few days. He also went to see Wufeng and Song Ning. The two of them were Night Sorrow's friends. Wufeng was his big brother, and had helped him a lot. Night Sorrow remembered all this in his heart. He wondered if he should help Wufeng return to his family, and settle the grudge with his mother's family. However, Wufeng refused. He wanted to settle these matters himself. This was his responsibility as a son. Night Sorrow promised that as long as Wufeng needed him, he would be there anytime. After settling the matters in the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow asked the members of the God-slaying team if there was anything else. After confirming that there was nothing else, Night Sorrow left the ethereal imperial city with the God-slaying team, and went to Tianhuang City. After arriving at Tianhuang City, Night Sorrow didn't stop at all. He directly took the teleportation array, and went to Reincarnation Island. Night Sorrow communicated with Nanyong, Shicheng Songjingang, Lin Chuan, Duan Qianshui, and Long Hao. Reincarnation Island went back to normal. 3 Original O version K. When the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders received the news, Night Sorrow was already at Reincarnation Island's camp. This bastard, he's the transit station of Heavenly Desolate City. He's treating Samsara Island as his base, Lu Qi muttered. He wants to do his job well. While guarding Reincarnation Island, he wants to cultivate quietly. The Grand Elder stood up and walked towards the teleportation array. Lu Qi followed behind. Grand Elder, don't go yet. I'll go to Reincarnation Island to take a look. No need. If this guy doesn't want to stop or stay, we'll go over. The Grand Elder said as he stepped onto the teleportation array. When Night Sorrow returned from patrolling around the stronghold, he saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi standing outside the teleportation array. Seniors, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Night Sorrow invited the Grand Elder and Lu Qi into the tent. I just wanted to confirm what element you had when you entered the Tribulation Emperor level, but I can't even begin to imagine the result, said the Great Elder with a sigh. He could already see Yi Shan's situation. The Grand Elder discovered that Night Sorrow's destruction attribute will of heaven and earth, as well as the void and space-time grand influence of heaven and earth, were in a perfect state. Oh, it's because of this. I plan to take care of the matters at Samsara Island, and then return to Heavenly Desolate City. I plan to stay there for a while. Yi Shan smiled. You'll stay for a while? Lu Qi's eyes were filled with disbelief. Of course. I plan to cultivate on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Night Sorrow explained. Chapter 2087. Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Nirvana Ocean Bridge is not suitable for others, but it suits you the most. However, the Demon Wing clan has been restless recently and has challenged us several times. I'm afraid it will delay your cultivation, the Grand Elder said. It doesn't matter. My true body will cultivate in the back, while my doppelganger will block the front. I will kill whoever comes. Of course, the 7th Elder and the Grand Elder will have to deal with those with high cultivation. Night Sorrow said with a smile and explained his plan. They won't dare. If their high-level cultivators attack you, then we won't accept their challenge. We will kill whoever comes. There will be no rules, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi also nodded. There were rules for a battle. Because of the rules, the Demon Wing clan cultivators dared to challenge in front of the Heavenly Wasteland City. If there was no bottom line to the battle, they would not be able to return. Night Sorrow, you have to go back early. There are many experts in the younger generation of the Demon Wing clan. Our monarchs and monarchs can't defeat them. We will have to rely on your god-slaying team, Lu Qi said. Okay, I will go back in 2 or 3 days. This time, they are not allowed to challenge me casually. I will block them and let them challenge me, Night Sorrow said. After hearing Night Sorrow's decision, the Grand Elder and the 7th Elder left satisfied. They got the answer they wanted, and also got the news that Night Sorrow was going to fight. This made them very happy. The elites of the Demon Wing clan still brought pressure to the Heavenly Desolate City. The Demon Wing clan sent out their disciples who were good at different things. The Heavenly Desolate City didn't have any specific targets, so the failure rate was very high. When the Heavenly Desolate City understood, the opponent would withdraw and replace them. If Yishang were to fight, there would be no need to worry about this because the Great Elder and Lu Qi knew that everyone in Tianhuang City knew that Yishang had no shortcomings and was good at everything. Hehe, this time those two fellows are happy. With your appearance, the Demon Wing clan's strategy this time will be ineffective. However, this king has 2 words to remind you. The Golden Dragon King appeared beside Night Sorrow. Senior Golden Dragon King, please speak your mind. I, Night Sorrow, will definitely remember your words. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the Golden Dragon King. Fighting against the demon-winged race is different from fighting against the 100 races of the celestial realm. What we seek is to kill. If you want to go to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to block people, then every battle must end quickly and not give the enemy a chance to understand you. This way, you will be able to stand on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge for a longer period of time, the Golden Dragon King said. Night Sorrow cupped his hands toward the Golden Dragon King. He knew that this was priceless advice. Seeing that the matter of Samsara Island was on the right track, Night Sorrow brought his clones of his wives, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and Tianyu back to Heavenly Wasteland City. Without informing anyone, they arrived at the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. In the past, the city gate was wide open. The practitioners of Heavenly Wasteland City could see the Nirvana Ocean Bridge at any time and see the road to the demon-winged race. In addition, Night Sorrow's bloody path back also inspired the practitioners of the 100 races of the celestial realm. However, at this time, the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was closed. This was because the elites of the demon-winged race often came. If the gate was not closed, they would be attacked by the other party. Samsara Island, Night Sorrow is going to fight. Open the gate. Night Sorrow shouted toward the city gate. The Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate was stunned. They could not decide whether to open the gate or not because it was the order of the Assembly of Elders to close the gate. Open the gate. At this time, Emperor Tang, who was patrolling, ordered the Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate. With the activation of the formation, the gate of Heavenly Wasteland City opened. Standing in front of the city gate, Night Sorrow turned around and said to Long Jin, Lin Chuan, and the others, "Do what you need to do. I don't think I will be back for a while. If you have nothing to do, go back to Samsara Island to take a look. Nothing can go wrong there." Then Night Sorrow left the city gate and walked toward the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. After leaving the city gate for some distance, Night Sorrow looked up at the sky. He reached out his right hand and grabbed the samsara halberd. Then he inserted it into the ground beside him. Then the energy on his body vibrated and a series of afterimages appeared. It was the clone carrying the blood-chill and evil-slaying spear. He continued to walk forward. After walking for 200 miles, Night Sorrow's clone sat down cross-legged. If the commander wants to accept a challenge, he can't do without an assistant to communicate with the opponent. Lin Chuan, will do this job. After speaking, Lin Chuan took out a pile of refining materials from his storage ring. Then, flames appeared on his body and melted the materials into a large rectangular sign. He waved his right hand and carved the word battle on the sign. Then, he flew to a distance behind Night Sorrow's clone, and threw the sign into the air. He inserted it into a protruding rock on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge beside Night Sorrow. Commander, do you like it? Lin Chuan shouted. Good, beautiful. Night Sorrow stretched out his left hand, and gave a thumbs up. Captain, you don't have to speak. Just focus on the battle. We will take care of the rest. Longjin also appeared and stood beside Lin Chuan behind Night Sorrow. Haha. Okay, but you don't have to suffer with me. You two go back first. Come down when the opponent comes. Night Sorrow waved at Longjin and Lin Chuan. He was indeed very happy. This was what brothers were like. How about this? Longjin, you go back first. Come and take my place later. We have to leave Yen alone to accompany the commander, Lin Chuan said. Okay. Longjin threw a jar of wine to Night Sorrow and Lin Chuan each and left. Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Chuan and sat down cross-legged. The blood-chill and evil vanquishing spear was placed across his knees. Want an initial I, Commander? If the Emperor comes, don't send them back. Can I make them stay? Lin Chuan said to Night Sorrow. I knew you would have thoughts. It's not that you can't do it, but you have to listen to orders. If I tell you to fight, you fight. If I tell you to retreat, you can't be vague. This is not a joke, Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Lin Chuan nodded. He wanted to fight. As for orders, he believed in Night Sorrow's. While the doppelganger and Lin Chuan talked, Night Sorrow's main body entered a state of cultivation, and began to cultivate Sure. When an emperor's tribulation cultivator reached perfection, they would enter into the cultivation of their own Sure. Unlike an emperor's tribulation cultivator, one was the external Sure of the world, and the other was the release of their own Sure. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi knew that Night Sorrow had returned. The two of them went to the top of the city gate. This guy is still impatient. This is good. However, I can't leave. Night Sorrow has already been listed in the Demon Wing race. When they see Night Sorrow fight, they can't use any underhanded methods. Chapter 2088. You don't have to worry. It's almost impossible for cultivators of the same level to defeat or kill Yi Shang. As for those whose cultivation is higher than Yi Shang's, even if they want to attack, we won't allow it. The Great Elder said to Lin Piaomiao and the others. Lin Piaomiao and the others nodded. They believed in Night Sorrow, but they were worried that the other party would use underhanded means. Now that the Grand Elder was here, they were relieved. Elder 7, make arrangements later to hand over this gate to the Humanitarian League. Piaomiao, you have to guard this place. I'll hand it over to you for convenience. When it's not needed, you can hand it over to the Heaven Wasteland Army. The Grand Elder said to Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow's original body felt the feeling of being one with the world, and began to cultivate. His doppelganger and Lin Chuan chatted. Night Sorrow even talked about how he went to the constellation world in fear. Lin Chuan also said that the situation of the White Tiger race wasn't very good these years. There weren't many of them in the constellation world. The days passed peacefully, but Night Sorrow returned to the Heaven Wasteland City with the cultivation of the Emperor Tribulation. This was because Night Sorrow's cultivation and virtue were enough to be a law enforcement patriarch. It should be known that the law enforcement patriarch held a high position in the 100 Races Patriarch Assembly. There were discussions, but the Lord of the Heaven Wasteland City didn't show up. The Grand Elder didn't say anything and didn't convene the Patriarch Assembly. Things were still very peaceful. However, because the gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was opened again, the Heaven Wasteland Army and some elites who were selected to develop in the Heaven Wasteland City came to the gate to watch the bloody footprints. However, their attention wasn't on the bloody footprints at the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. They were paying attention to the figure standing in the storm of Nirvana. Knight Sorrow stood on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. His body was just like the Samsara halberd in his right hand. In the eyes of the cultivators, he was a divine weapon standing between heaven and earth. Many of the cultivators who came to watch did not understand what Knight Sorrow was cultivating. His comprehension of the worldly momentum was not like Knight Sorrow's. After cultivating for half a month and having some thoughts, Knight Sorrow waved his left hand and summoned the Hautian godly pagoda. He smashed it into the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, and then landed on top of it to begin his time-accelerated cultivation. Knight Sorrow didn't place the clear sky godly pagoda high up. Instead, he placed it in the sea so that he could receive the full impact of the Nirvana ocean and the sky. This time, Knight Sorrow's train of thought became clearer and clearer. In the past, when he was cultivating, his level was not high enough, so he could feel it in advance. After all, he had not reached this level yet. 20 days later, the Demon Wings clan appeared. It was not a single Demon Wings clan member, but a team. The leader was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and there were emperors and emperors in the team. Sensing their arrival, Knight Sorrow's clone and Lin Chuan stood up. If there was going to be a battle, they would accept it. Sensing the arrival of the Demon Wing clan, the members of the 100 Races Alliance at the gate of the Nirvana City of Heaven Wasteland all stood up, because a battle was about to break out. At the same time, the Heaven Wasteland army and cultivators who had come to watch Yishang's battle at the gate also spread the news. Therefore, more and more people gathered at the city gate. Lin Chuan stretched his waist and walked forward. He walked to Knight Sorrow's side and said, "Since they're here, let's start the battle. How do you think we should fight?" Long Jin heard Lin Chuan's words and slapped his thigh. "I knew it. It's not worth it to come back first." With that, Long Jin flashed to Lin Chuan's side. "Seems like you're prepared," the leader of the Demon Wings clan said. He was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, just like Knight Sorrow. "That's right. If you want a battle, we'll accept it. We have an Emperor Tribulation, 3 Emperors Tribulation, and Emperor Tribulation. You can choose any of the 3 levels. If you can't do it, go back," Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled at Lin Chuan. "Brother, you're so generous." Z. Yong P Geoffrey equals asterisk look at small j. "Of course. Since you're here, we have to fight together. We can't leave you behind." Lin Chuan nodded. After nodding to Long Jin, Lin Chuan pointed at a member of the Demon Wings clan. "You. Since you don't have a 3 Emperor Tribulation cultivator, a 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator is fine too. Do you dare to fight me?" "Ignorant boy, you're courting death. Last time, we killed emperors. This time, it's the Emperor Tribulation cultivator's turn. Perhaps the higher-ups of the Celestial Wasteland City will feel the heartache." The member of the Demon Wings clan that Lin Chuan pointed at stood out. They were here to kill and destroy the morale of the cultivators of the Celestial Realm. Naturally, they wouldn't avoid a battle. Lin Chuan asked for his name. "Our god-slaying team doesn't kill nameless people," Long Jin said to Lin Chuan. "Demon Wings clan, Star King tribe. Emo Xinglia." The 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator of the Demon Wings clan took a few steps forward and said, "As expected, the elites of the Celestial Wasteland City's 100 King tribe are here. It seems like the Demon Wings clan has already made some arrangements and plans." The Grand Elder muttered from the top of the Nirvana City's gate. In the previous few battles, both sides didn't communicate and fought immediately. Therefore, the Assembly of Elders didn't know some information. "Come." Lin Chuan unsheathed the battle blade in his hand and looked at Emo Xinglia. "And who are you?" Emo Xinglia looked at Lin Chuan. "There's no need to tell you because you're going to be a dead man soon. However, in order to let you know who killed you, I'll tell you. I'm Lin Chuan of the White Tiger clan." Lin Chuan took a few steps forward. Knight Sorrow held the Blood Kirin Evil Slayer in his hand. He had confidence in Lin Chuan, but he had to be careful of unexpected situations. Emo Xinglia walked out and waved his battle blade at Lin Chuan at an extremely fast speed. Speed was also Lin Chuan's forte. He rushed forward and slashed with the battle blade in his hand. Lin Chuan, they aren't important figures. There's no need to test them. Just kill them. Knight Sorrow shouted when he saw that Lin Chuan's speed and attack strength were all reserved. This was also a reminder from the Golden Dragon King. After hearing Knight Sorrow's shout, Lin Chuan's aura changed. The battle blade in his hand was covered with stripe-shaped energy. It was the power of slaughter. His speed had also increased. It was the Western White Tiger kill. Lin Chuan and Mo Xinglia were both very fast and instantly completed a collision. As the collision ended, Mo Xinglia's expression changed. Lin Chuan's attack power was too strong. He was at a disadvantage in one move. After defeating Mo Xinglia in one move, Lin Chuan's aura erupted. The White Tiger Phantom appeared behind him and attacked Mo Xinglia. The battle was intense. Mo Xinglia's pair of flesh wings kept trembling as he dodged Lin Chuan's attack. Go to hell. At this moment, the White Tiger Phantom behind Lin Chuan condensed and turned into a substantial energy attack that pounced towards Mo Xinglia. This was an ultimate skill that he could only use after entering the Emperor Tribulation. During the Heavenless competition, he couldn't use it. Mo Xinglia wanted to dodge, but Lin Chuan's move was too fast. He was sent flying by the White Tiger's energy. When Mo Xinglia's body flew uncontrollably, a blade light flashed and cut his body into two from head to toe. Chapter 2089. Mo Xinglia was dead. But the Devil Wing race members didn't make a move. They were clear that they were the ones who started the gentleman's fight. If they didn't follow the rules, no matter how many people came, they wouldn't dare to come again. Great Commander, Lin Chuan has completed the mission. Lin Chuan stood in his original position. Very good. You rest for a while. You won't accept any challenges today. Knight Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Yes. Although Lin Chuan still wanted to fight, he had to obey Knight Sorrow's orders. Besides, this was what he promised Knight Sorrow. After Lin Chuan was done, Long Jin stood beside Knight Sorrow and said, Captain, can I play too? Sure. Looking at the two emperors, Knight Sorrow nodded. Although the two members were both peak emperors, Knight Sorrow noticed that the energy in their bodies didn't surpass Long Jin's. Long Jin took 2 steps forward and held the ocean wave blade in his hand. If you want to fight with me, tell me your name. Although it's a dead man's name, we don't kill nameless people. Very arrogant. The Devil Wing race leader snorted. He was a member of the Devil Wing race's Dark King tribe, Mo shouting. The Dark King tribe was one of the top tribes in the 100 King tribe. We have the qualifications to be arrogant. You guys were able to show off earlier because our reincarnation island didn't return. Our god-slaying team wasn't here. Otherwise you guys wouldn't be birds. Long Jin sneered. 5R8Y hearing Long Jin's words, Tianyu wasn't satisfied. They aren't even birds. Hearing Tianyu's words, although the atmosphere was tense, Lin Piaomiao and the others all laughed. What kind of bird temper is that? Yang Lei glanced at Tianyu. Ninth senior sister, I have a bird temper. Tianyu replied softly. If others said it, he could still explode. However, if Yang Lei and the others said it, he couldn't get angry. They were all people he respected. All right. You win. Yang Lei shook her head helplessly, because Tianyu was telling the truth. While Tianyu was talking with Yang Lei and the others, the battle on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge started. Long Jin and one of the other emperors started fighting. In the beginning they were evenly matched. Then the Golden Dragon transformed and used his blade skills to suppress the opponent. In just a short moment, the opponent was killed. Not bad, come back and rest. Knight Sorrow waved at Long Jin. Nodding at Knight Sorrow, Long Jin returned to the side behind Knight Sorrow and stood together with Lin Chuan. Seeing Long Jin come back, Lin Chuan and Long Jin bumped their palms together. Let me tell you about the situation first. Just now my 2 brothers played with you. Now it's my turn. I'll be standing here. If you want to go to the desolate Sky City, then defeat me first. As for cultivation, I'm an Emperor Tribulation. You can make the arrangements. However, I'll tell you in advance that I've arranged a chance for you. If you want to go in without cultivation, then don't say I didn't follow the rules if you get killed. Knight Sorrow said. Then I'll kill you first. Mo shouting walked out with his blade. You don't have the right to kill me. I didn't want to know your name, but my brother wants to know. He wants to carve it as a souvenir. Then tell me your name. Knight Sorrow glanced at Lin Chuan, who was carving his name on the metal plate. Lin Chuan had divided the plate into 4 rows. Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Lin Chuan killing Emo Xinglia. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Long Jin's battle record. I'm Emo Shouting of the Dark King tribe of the Demon-Winged clan. Even if you die, you'll know who your creditor is. Emo Shouting dragged his blade and walked towards Knight Sorrow. Emo Shouting swung his battle saber when he was still 300 feet away from Yishang. An astral saber slashed towards Yishang. Knight Sorrow's body flashed, using Void Step and Space-Time Realm at the same time. After dodging the astral blade, he reappeared in front of Emo Shouting. Then, the forbidden Samsara domain erupted and started suppressing Emo Shouting. Next, he used the destructive True Dragon incantation. After his attack missed, Knight Sorrow's body disappeared and reappeared. Emo Shouting's expression changed. Just as he wanted to speed up and retreat, Knight Sorrow's forbidden Samsara domain suppressed him. He couldn't increase his speed anymore. At this time, Knight Sorrow's Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear stabbed out. The Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear carried a black halo that rippled in all directions, enveloping Emo Shouting. Break. Emo Shouting's domain power spread out in all directions as he swung his blade towards the Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear. However, Knight Sorrow didn't fight Emo Shouting head-on. He used Void Step to move his body, and the Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear continued to stab towards Emo Shouting from the side. Emo Shouting's body turned, and his blade blocked again. However, due to the negative effects of the Reincarnation True Dragon incantation, his blade technique was much slower. Go to hell. Knight Sorrow's right hand shook, and a shockwave burst out, knocking away Emo Shouting's blade that was blocking his Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear. Then the Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear sped up and stabbed into Emo Shouting's chest. Next, a shockwave burst out, and the reincarnation energy began to destroy Emo Shouting's body. Emo Shouting's body stopped moving. The reincarnation energy was too overbearing, and it was on a level that surpassed any other energy. It was much more overbearing than the void and destruction energy. The constant shockwaves destroyed the meridians in Emo Shouting's body. Knight Sorrow's right arm shook, and the Bloodchelan Evil Vanquishing Spear stabbed again, piercing through Emo Shouting's forehead and destroying his spirit sea. His left hand sucked, and Emo Shouting's weapon and storage ring were put away. Knight Sorrow kicked Emo Shouting's corpse in front of the Demon Wing Clan's team. You're not my match. Go back and report this to your higher-ups. I'm a First Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and I'll accept any First Emperor Tribulation cultivator from your Demon Wing clan. Remember, the gentleman's battle was issued by you, so don't be a coward and let us look down on you. The members of the Demon Wing clan's team were shocked because Knight Sorrow was too strong. They hadn't expected him to kill Emo Shouting with just 3 spear strikes. They glanced at Knight Sorrow, but didn't dare to ask for his name. The Demon Wing clan's members took the 3 corpses and left. They had to report this to their higher-ups. Seeing the Demon Wing clan's team leave, Lin Chuan and Long Jin roared. Great! Long Jin patted his chest. Not bad. We're lacking an Imperial Emperor now. It would be great if we had a strong one, Knight Sorrow said. Currently, Knight Sorrow, Lin Chuan, and Long Jin represented the 3 levels, and the Imperial Emperors on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge could travel. Therefore, the Celestial Realm's 100 races still lacked Imperial Emperors. The Demon Wing clan's team left with 3 lives. Roars came from the top of Nirvana City's gate, and it was the same at the city gate. Because there were many people watching, Knight Sorrow and the other 2 killed almost without any suspense. Chapter 2090. The Great Elder's heart calmed down because Yishang's strength proved that there was no problem. He could easily kill a First Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator of the Demon Wing clan. His opponent was simply not on the same level as him. The Demonic Winged clan retreated, and Knight Sorrow and the other 2 began to drink. After drinking a cup of wine, Long Jin said, Captain, we need to find a powerful celestial emperor. To be honest, the celestial emperor of the god-slaying squad is not bad, but he's not strong enough yet. Yes, the members of the god-slaying squad are outstanding. The one we need to fight now must be the most outstanding cultivator of the same level. They're not good enough, but there's one more suitable. However, I need to ask for his opinion on this matter, Night Sorrow said. Chapter G. The most V/new chapter. Beyond B. Who is it? Long Jin asked. He knew all the people around Night Sorrow. None of the celestial emperors had outstanding battle prowess. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Xiao Gu from Star Moon City. He's at the peak of the celestial emperor realm. How about this? Your main body or clone can bring him to 9 Regions City to find me. I'll talk to him. We won't force this matter. Long Jin nodded and went to handle this matter. His clone had followed Night Sorrow to Tianhuang City. His main body was at Reincarnation Island. His main body could go to Star Moon City now. Not long after, Night Sorrow's 9 clones in 9 Regions City met Xiao Gu, who Long Jin had brought. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Xiao Gu. Lord Realm Lord, you're too polite. I don't know what happened in my previous life, but since I have a body of merit, I must have contributed greatly to the celestial realm in my previous life. In this life, I'll follow in my footsteps. Xiao Gu nodded. He addressed Night Sorrow as Realm Lord just like everyone in Star Moon City. Good. How about this? You go to Reincarnation Island with Long Jin and train with the members of the God-Slaying Squad for a while. Then Long Jin will bring Xiao Gu to Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow made the arrangements. Long Jin nodded and brought Xiao Gu to Reincarnation Island. Xiao Gu was outstanding in all aspects, but Night Sorrow was not at ease with her combat experience. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow and the other 2 were chatting excitedly. Which youth wasn't frivolous? Although the 3 of them weren't youths, they were the youngest cultivators in the group of cultivators who couldn't be any younger. Is Lu Qi envious of them? Who could seize the peak of a horse with a sword in hand? We couldn't compare to them back then. The Grand Elder looked at the 3 people on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and said. When Mo Zhantian received the news, his expression changed. All 3 of them are very strong? Not 3. One of them is from the dragon's race, one is from the white tiger race, and the strongest is from the human race. The pale-faced Mo Shouting spoke. Mo Shouting had sent his clone to fight, and now, his main body was reporting to Mo Zhantian. Human. You only took 3 moves? The first sovereign tribulation. When did they have such a cultivator? Clairvoyant, rewind the scene. Mo Zhantian ordered the clairvoyant. When the clairvoyant rewound the scene, Mo Zhantian's expression turned cold. He recognized Night Sorrow. Bastard. Mo Zhantian waved his hand and smashed a stone pillar in the hall. Night Sorrow's existence was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. Moreover, Night Sorrow's strength had risen too quickly. Gather everyone. Gather all the members of the first sovereign tribulation. Even if we have to risk our lives, we have to defeat him. He is our demon-winged clan's obstacle to conquering the celestial realm. We have to get rid of him. Mo Zhantian said. Hearing Mo Zhantian's words, the demon-winged clan began to move. Not only the original members of the Demon Imperial City, but all the members of the first sovereign tribulation of the 100 Kings tribe also moved. Soon, close to 40 cultivators of the first sovereign tribulation gathered in the Demon Imperial Palace. You are all the elites of the demon-winged clan. Under normal circumstances, I don't want any of you to be injured. However, I have to make a decision now. We still have an era. When the new supreme world appears, the celestial realm will be reincarnated into a secondary supreme world, and our heaven wasteland domain will be destroyed. One era. We only have one era. Therefore, even if there are losses, you have to bear them. Next, use the self-destructive battle method to destroy the human sovereign of the 100 clans in front of you. The first step is to destroy his clone and destroy his future. Mo Zhantian gave the battle order. Then, Mo Zhantian made the tactical arrangements. The mid-level first sovereign tribulation cultivators would fight to the death with Night Sorrow. If they failed, they would self-destruct. Even if they couldn't destroy Night Sorrow's clone, they had to severely injure Night Sorrow and give the people behind a chance. In addition to the first sovereign tribulation cultivators of the demon-winged clan, the peak Emperor realm members of the demon-winged clan had also gathered. This didn't mean that the celestial realm wasn't good enough. Heaven Wasteland Domain had developed one more supreme world than the celestial realm. The time between the beginning of the reincarnation cycle and the destruction of the reincarnation cycle was more than 1,000 cycles, which was double the time. In terms of foundation, the celestial realm was more than twice as strong as the celestial realm. The 100 races of the celestial realm had their heyday. However, they didn't break into the demon imperial city and didn't fight on Heaven Wasteland Domain. Therefore, Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't harmed at all. Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't affected by the flames of war. This was because the demon-winged clan once had an expert who almost passed the god-destroying tribulation. His head became a big city, an impregnable city. When the dense crowd of Devil Wing clan members appeared on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge under Mo Gentian's lead, the three of them jumped in fright. The other side's formation was too large, and there were too many of them. It didn't look like a gentleman's battle at all. Instead, it looked like a one-on-one battle. The Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders also stood behind Knight Sorrow, and the other two. Mo Gentian, are you trying to bring forward the battle? Then the 100 races of the celestial realm will accompany you. The Great Elder turned around and glanced at the illusory figure that appeared above the city gate. He then looked at Mo Gentian and said. Mo Gentian also looked at the illusory figure above the city gate. It was the energy clone of the city lord of Heaven Wasteland Domain, Tran Hung. I'm here to watch my subordinates engage in a gentleman's battle. Are you afraid to accept, or are you afraid? Mo Gentian snorted coldly. All right. If you don't play by the rules, we won't hold back either. The Grand Elder replied. Then he waved his hand and a chair appeared. He sat down on the Heaven Wasteland Ocean Bridge. Bring a few more chairs. The Grand Elder turned around and shouted. Who's Knight Sorrow? Come out and die. At this moment, a first Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the Demon-Winged clan stepped forward and shouted. Damn it! There's really someone in a hurry to die. Lin Chuan cursed. The rules are here. If you want to fight, then leave your name. If you don't have a name, don't come out and embarrass yourselves, Long Jin said. Demon-Winged clan's Nether King tribe, Moi Cheng. The first Emperor Tribulation cultivator reported his name. Lin Chuan, prepare to carve your name. Knight Sorrow raised his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and took a few steps forward. Since the other party was here, Knight Sorrow was ready to fight. He would kill as many as there were. Chapter 2091. Mo Cheng stepped forward and pointed his blade at Knight Sorrow, his body full of murderous intent. Heaven Wasteland Domain often had wars. The Demon-Winged clan was a fighting race, but they were very united against outsiders. In addition, when the Demon-Winged clan was at a critical juncture of life and death, they had no choice but to fight to the death. After Knight Sorrow took a step forward, the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear spread out, and the energy in his body began to circulate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, go to hell. Mo Cheng rose into the air and slashed his blade at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's body flashed, and then he rushed forward. The blood-chilling evil-slaying spear displayed the reincarnation true dragon art and stabbed at Mo Cheng's blade. At this time, Mo Cheng's blade changed its path, avoiding the attack of Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and slashing at Knight Sorrow's head. He planned to exchange injury for injury, to trade life for life. Seeing this scene, Knight Sorrow smiled. Exchanging injury for life? He was not afraid of such a thing. He continued to rush forward, the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear still stabbing at Mo Cheng's chest. Both of them had chosen to fight to the death. The Demon-Winged clan is not afraid of death. Lock. With a low roar, a net-like energy line appeared on Mo Cheng's body, sealing off the surroundings. He wanted to trap Knight Sorrow, so that Knight Sorrow could not dodge, and could only fight according to the current situation. In fact, Knight Sorrow had no intention of dodging, and his body was rapidly approaching Mo Cheng. Because of the negative effects of the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Iching could not escape the current situation. Affected by Night Sorrow's secret technique, the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Iching's soul power burst out in all directions to maintain his consciousness and the power of his blade as he continued to slash at Night Sorrow. Rip. Mo Iching's protective armor was pierced by Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear, and the fluctuations of the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear directly destroyed the insides of Mo Iching's body. Mo Iching poured all the energy in his body into the blade and slashed at Night Sorrow's head. He wanted to kill Yishang. As for the clone, he didn't care if it was destroyed. As long as this sure-kill strike could kill Yishang, it would be enough, even if it was severely injured. At this moment, Night Sorrow's left hand, which was glowing with a golden light, reached above his head. Then he grabbed Mo Iching's saber and took the full blow of Mo Iching's saber before his body was destroyed. Blood Qilin's evil-slaying spear, and Mo Iching's head. Then he swung the spear, and left spear left his storage ring spear. And of the spear he left his spear, Sorrow's spear, and his blade-slaying spear. Mo Iching, a first Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the Demon Wings clan. He died under Yi Chang's spear in Tianhuang City. Lin Chuan shouted. Then he carved Mo Iching's name under Mo Xiaoting's name. Taking a few steps back, Night Sorrow threw Mo Iching's storage ring and weapon to the Grand Elder. I will continue to fight. Grand Elder, please refine the imprint. The Grand Elder smiled and nodded. He was very happy and satisfied. What did it mean to be clean and tidy? Night Sorrow was clean and tidy. In one clash he had easily finished off his opponent. Moreover, it was a battle of attrition. Let's go next. Fight. Let's fight to our heart's content. Night Sorrow waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and declared war on the Devil Wing clan. There were rules in the gentleman's battle. At this time, Night Sorrow had just fought, so he could choose not to fight. At this time, it was Night Sorrow who wanted to fight. He wanted to deal a heavy blow to the Devil Wing clan and extinguish the Devil Wing clan's aggressive momentum. Mo Xingyuan, I will fight you. Another member of the Devil Wing clan stood out. Come. Night Sorrow's body flashed, and he charged towards Mo Xingyuan. Remember this lord's words. Mo Zhantian reminded Mo Xingyuan. He meant that if he couldn't defeat Night Sorrow, he would self-destruct. He had to deal with him, even if it meant sacrificing his life. After watching the battle between Night Sorrow and Mo Iching, Mo Xingyuan knew that Night Sorrow's left hand's defense was very strong. Therefore, he avoided the cause of Mo Iching's defeat and directly fought with brute force, displaying all his strength. However, because of Night Sorrow's speed, Mo Xingyuan's attacks all missed. Go to hell. Since he couldn't attack Night Sorrow, he couldn't see any hope of defeating Night Sorrow. Mo Zhengyuan thought for a moment and circulated his energy to his dantian, preparing to self-destruct. Noticing this, Night Sorrow naturally understood what was going on. He used the soul attack soul extinguishing slash and slashed towards Mo Zhengyuan. At the same time, he added in the illusion attack. Ever since he cultivated the variant soul extinguishing slash, this was the first time Night Sorrow used it in a one-on-one battle. Mo Xingyuan's soul defense blocked the soul extinguishing slash, but the illusion attack penetrated deep into his soul, causing it to stop operating for a breath of time. In such a critical moment, not to mention a breath, even an instant was enough for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear carried a spiraling penetrating force, directly piercing through Mo Xingyuan's head and shattering his spirit sea. Under such circumstances, the true energy in Mo Xingyuan's dantian could no longer be stimulated or triggered. Thus it could not explode, and naturally dissipated. Night Sorrow waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear, and collected Mo Xingyuan's storage ring. Then, he kicked Mo Xingyuan's corpse back to the Devil-Winged clan's camp. Lin Chuan, this is the second. Who's the third? Devil-Winged clan's first Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Mo Zhenyuan, originated from the beginning of the 9th era. He was killed by Night Sorrow on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Two first Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Devil-Winged clan had died in battle, without causing a splash. They hadn't injured Night Sorrow, nor had Night Sorrow consumed any energy, let alone seriously injure Night Sorrow. Emo Zhantian's eyes twitched. He naturally saw that Emo Zhengyuan was about to self-destruct, but Night Sorrow had interrupted him. Didn't you want to fight? Who's the third? I, Night Sorrow, will stand right here. Night Sorrow pointed his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear at the ground, and looked at the Devil-Winged Clan's camp. Very good. Do you think you're invincible now? Emo Zhantian narrowed his eyes at Night Sorrow. He wanted nothing more than to slap Night Sorrow to death, but he knew he wouldn't have the chance. If he did, the major sects would definitely intervene. Then a chaotic battle would ensue. He could leave, but the people he had brought with him would be left behind. Furthermore, the gentleman's battle would be held to suppress the momentum of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Are you stupid? Our Grand Commander asked you to send people out? Are you scared? Lin Chuan shouted at the Devil-Winged Clan after carving out the names. Mengo. Emo Zhantian ordered again. At the same time, he sent out a spiritual transmission, telling the fighters to take the opportunity to self-destruct. They had to injure Night Sorrow. If they didn't deal with Night Sorrow, they would lose this time. The momentum of the Devil-Winged Clan would be destroyed, and Emo Zhantian couldn't afford to lose face. The battle began again. At this time, Night Sorrow couldn't tell that it was the virtuous king. He waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear, and the members of the Devil-Winged Clan fell one after another. In less than 2 hours, Night Sorrow had killed another 7 experts of the Devil-Winged Clan. His surroundings and body were dyed red with blood. Chapter 2092. Still want to continue? Night Sorrow waved the blood-chilling, evil-slaying spear in his right hand as he stared coldly at the Demon-Winged Clan's camp. Emo Zhantian squinted his eyes as he sized up Night Sorrow. He then waved his hand and retreated with his men. He knew that there was no point in continuing the battle. Without a proper solution, he would be killed by Night Sorrow no matter what. Wear out Night Sorrow. After 2 hours, Night Sorrow didn't have much energy left. An Emperor Tribulation cultivator wouldn't be worn out so easily unless they were evenly matched and fought for a long time. Another key point was that Night Sorrow could refuse to fight. If he continued to fight, he would be wasting lives. If Night Sorrow refused to fight, then he would fight another day. That would be a waste of lives. Go back and prepare. I have some time recently, and will be waiting here for you to fight. Night Sorrow waved the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear at the backs of Emo Zhantian and the others. Kill! 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 Deafening shouts came from Tianhuang City. 7 shouts were heard consecutively. Night Sorrow turned around and looked in the direction of Tianhuang City. He raised the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and shouted, I am invincible. After shouting, Yishan directly jumped into the Nirvana ocean of extinction and cleaned the blood and aura on his body. When he jumped out of the Nirvana ocean, energy vibrated and his originally wet robes became dry and comfortable. When he returned to his original location, Yishan looked at the messy battlefield with severed arms and legs. He shook his head. This is where I fought. That's right. You were the one who cut off the limbs, Lin Chuan said with certainty. Oh, this is a little too brutal. Night Sorrow felt a chill at the roots of his teeth. Blood was still flowing on the battlefield. The essence blood of an Emperor Tribulation expert was like his footprints. It wouldn't dissipate in a short period of time. They're here to kill you. Why don't you just wait to be cut down? What's done is done. It's no big deal, the Grand Elder said. Great Elder, you're thinking too much. Yishang isn't new to Jianghu. He can already accept these things. Our enmity with the Demon Wings clan isn't personal, it's a racial enmity. It's a war that won't end until one of us dies. I won't feel guilty about killing them. I'll guard this Nirvana ocean bridge. I'll kill whoever comes, said Yishang. You won 9 battles in a row, Yang Qi said. You killed 9 of the Devilwing clan's first Tribulation emperors. That was a pain that went deep into their bones. Let's see how they deal with it. They wanted to attack the morale of the 100 races of the celestial realm, but they ended up being attacked instead. They definitely won't be willing to bear the consequences. The Grand Elder said with a smile. After leaving, Emo Zhantian was extremely annoyed. However, he did not vent it on the members of the demon-winged clan. He knew that the root of this failure was that Night Sorrow was too difficult to deal with. Night Sorrow looked at the challenge card. So much blood. Captain, that's because you were too focused during the battle. The opponent's head flew onto the challenge card. Lin Chuan and I were very anxious. Long Jin said with a smile. I reckon your battle will come soon. In a situation where they can't deal with me and don't want their morale to drop, they'll look for trouble at the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor Stage. The two of you will be in trouble soon. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. This is a good thing. I can't wait for them to come. We'll kill them one by one. Lin Chuan was energized. If you want to kill, I won't stop you. However, you must remember one thing. You have to listen to the arrangements. You can accept their challenges once every half a day. No matter how good your condition is, you have to fight once every half a day. Night Sorrow said. Yes. Lin Chuan and Long Jin nodded. You two don't want to fight consecutively? Lu Qi looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Yes, but the Grand Commander's arrangement must be reasonable. Even if it's not, it's for our sake. Therefore, we'll just follow the orders. Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled and patted Lin Chuan's shoulder. He had the same idea as Lin Chuan. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at each other and nodded. They knew that this was a brother. Trust, absolute trust, and unconditional trust. This also showed Night Sorrow's charisma. In fact, just as Night Sorrow had estimated, the Demon Wings clan was currently unable to gain an advantage at Night Sorrow's level. They planned to suppress the 100 races of the Celestial Realm at the Emperor Tribulation level. The morale of the battle was very important. The Demon Wings clan needed this morale. They had to prepare for the final battle. They didn't care about the price. Now was the last era of the last reincarnation cycle of the Celestial Realm. It was the last era in which the Demon Wings clan of Heaven Wasteland would fight to the death with the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. When the new Supreme World was formed, the Heaven Wasteland domain would shatter. Lin Chuan followed Night Sorrow's instructions. After the morning battle, he would rest directly. No matter what the Demon Wings clan said, it was useless. He had to rest after a single battle. In the evening, he would fight another battle. That was 2 battles a day. While Lin Chuan was fighting, Long Jin cheered him on and engraved words on the battle plate. He didn't accept the Emperor's challenge. It wasn't that he didn't want to accept, but that he would wait until tomorrow. There was no hurry to fight, and they could fight one battle at a time. The next day Long Jin, like Lin Chuan, won 2 battles peacefully. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't ask, but Night Sorrow still took the initiative to explain the reason. This arrangement was for morale. The Demon Wings clan came to fight to gain morale for the overall situation of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's battle was to wear down the aggressive morale of the Demon Wings clan. Let the Demon Wings clan suffer under the attack. Their morale would slowly be exhausted, and without morale, their combat power would be low. Night Sorrow still wanted to extend this mode of battle. There was no such thing as a secret in the world. Even if the Demon Wings clan blocked the news that this battle didn't go well, the Demon Wings clan would still know, and that would create an impact. Night Sorrow's purpose was to seize morale for the Celestial Realm. The Demon Wings clan launched the battle mode to pursue the morale. The Grand Elder understood this principle, Lu Qi understood it, and after Night Sorrow explained it, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and the others also understood. Lin Chuan and Long Jin each fought for 3 days. Night Sorrow fought again. The Demon Wings clan didn't fight, so Night Sorrow took the initiative to fight. As long as the Demon Wings clan's first Tribulation Realm cultivators came, Night Sorrow would challenge them one by one. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid that the Demon Wings clan would avoid the battle. If they did, they would lose. Face slapping. Night Sorrow was slapping the face instead. He wanted to trample on the morale of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's tyrannical strength and tyrannical style made Mo Gentian not dare to let the first Tribulation Realm cultivators follow the team to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they didn't accept the battle, they would lose face. If they accepted the battle, they would lose their lives. Night Sorrow killed 13 Demon Wings clan's first Tribulation Realm cultivators, which made the first Tribulation Realm cultivators of the Demon Wings clan not dare to come to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. This news spread in the celestial desolate city, and many people saw it. This made Night Sorrow's reputation rise a lot, because what Night Sorrow could do, others couldn't. Chapter 2093. The Grand Elder's original body in the heavenly wasteland city communicated with the incarnation of the city lord, and convened a meeting of the elders. In the meeting hall of the heavenly wasteland tower, the members of the elders of the 100 races were gathered. This time, the members were all present. Even the leaders of the Divine Beast clan were present. In the past, many members of the elders of the 100 races did not live in the heavenly wasteland city, and did not express their opinions. They just received orders from the elders of the 100 races. This time, the Demon Wing clan came aggressively and challenged one-on-one. The members of the elders of the 100 races who received the news were all present in the heavenly wasteland city. Everyone has seen the situation during this period. In this battle, Night Sorrow killed 13 Demon Wing clan Emperor Tribulation cultivators, and won 9 battles. He showed the power of the Celestial Realm cultivators. One man and one spear, he killed so many Demon Wing clan Emperor Tribulation cultivators that they did not dare to step onto the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. This achievement is unprecedented, and none of us here can achieve it. He is the human emperor of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, and the pride of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, the Grand Elder said. Yes, he is the power of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. He represents the strength of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. The Heavenly Astral King nodded. He admired Night Sorrow very much, and now he admired him even more. Great Elder, please make an announcement about the human sovereign. He now has the ability to protect himself, Lu Qi said. The Grand Elder nodded. In every reincarnation, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm will have a body of merit, but some can become the human emperor, and some can't. But we can be sure that in the years when the human emperor existed, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm were most conservative and not suppressed. In this reincarnation cycle, there was no human emperor before the 8th era, but at the end of the 8th era and the beginning of the 9th era, the human emperor appeared. Today, I want to announce that the 9th era's human emperor will officially appear in front of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, and the Devil Wing race of Heaven Wasteland. He has the human emperor's seal and the human Tao's sacred scripture, the Tao Te Ching. His power of merit cultivation is that of the virtuous emperor. His title in the Heaven Wasteland Tower is Immortal Godly Emperor, and he once withstood the attack of the Black Lotus of Destruction. Everyone has heard of the Black Lotus of World Destruction. In the previous reincarnation, the human emperor of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm failed to pass the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation and the God-destroying Tribulation. However, he had already passed the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation. The price he paid was to sleep for 700 years. Most of you should know who he is. He is the great commander of Samsara Island, Night Sorrow. He is the Night Sorrow who is currently on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, the Grand Elder said. After listening to the Grand Elder's words, there were whispers in the meeting hall. Some people knew about this, while others didn't. Even those who knew didn't know the details. For example, there weren't many people who knew about the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation, so the impact was relatively large. Everyone has seen Night Sorrow's contributions to the Celestial Realm. We have also seen his determination to defend the territory of the Celestial Realm. This time, I have gathered everyone here to make arrangements for him. The Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation is the recognition of the heavens. In the Celestial Realm, the 100 Races Alliance must also be recognized, the Grand Elder said. Yes, there has to be an explanation. Without a clear name, it would be inappropriate for anyone to yell at him, Long Yixing said. Normally, if one's moral character is passable, and his cultivation is at the Tribulation Emperor Tribulation, he can be a law-enforcing patriarch. Commander Night Sorrow is a human emperor, and his moral character has already been recognized by the heavens. His cultivation is also at the Tribulation Emperor Tribulation. He is a genius who can fight above his level, So the position of law-enforcing patriarch should be the lowest arrangement, Xiao Jun said. It is not appropriate for a human emperor to be law-enforcing patriarch. He should be the leader of the 100 races in the celestial realm, Qin Qianjie said. Law-enforcing patriarch Xiao and patriarch Qin are both right. I have talked with the city lord and King Yawu. Knight Sorrow is strong and capable, but we can't throw a huge responsibility to him. That will hinder his growth. Today, I will tell everyone that Knight Sorrow will be the law-enforcing patriarch in the celestial realm. At the same time, he will be the young city lord of the heavenly desolate city and the divine capital. His orders will be the same as the orders of the Grand Elder. Does anyone have any objections? If not, I will announce it to the celestial realm. The Grand Elder stood up and announced his plans and arrangements. Does anyone have any objections? Knight Sorrow is qualified and capable. He will use blood, his own blood and his opponent's blood. He will prove to the millions of creatures in the celestial realm what a real practitioner is, and what a human emperor is. The Golden Dragon King stood up and said. Following the Golden Dragon King's words, all the members of the Council of Elders in the meeting hall stood up and bowed to the Grand Elder. Strike the drum and ring the bell 18 times. Announce the news to the world. The Grand Elder gave the final order. 9-inch 2D. The ancient bronze bell in the heavenly desolate city rang. The melodious sound of the bell echoed in the sky and stretched for millions of miles. This was the sound of the official beginning of a great era. The heavenly desolate tower shone brightly. 2 rows of golden words appeared and leaped in the sky above the heavenly desolate city. The 2 rows of words were Immortal Godly Emperor Knight Sorrow and Human Emperor Knight Sorrow. The birth of the human emperor was naturally supported by the original body of the celestial realm. Knight Sorrow turned around and looked at the words above the heavenly desolate city. He looked at the cultivators of the 100 races on the city gate, and at the city gate. Then the original body and the doppelganger, who could no longer cultivate, stood together and raised their weapons at the same time. I, Knight Sorrow, am here. As long as I stand, the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan will not be able to do anything in the celestial realm. If they come, we will fight. In the war, you will see the figure of Knight Sorrow. We will start a new era. The 8th era will be the God's era, and the 9th era will be the Demon Slayer era. Fight. I am invincible. After speaking, Knight Sorrow turned around and looked at the camp of the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan. At the same time, his body flashed with golden light. That was the golden light of merit. His identity as the human emperor had been announced to the world, so there was no need for him to deliberately suppress it. Emo Gentian's expression was very ugly. Everything was going in a direction that was unfavorable to the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan. So what if the human emperor is born? Thousands of reincarnations have passed. Are there any human emperors with the body of merit in the celestial realm? Who can do anything to the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan? Remember, as long as the demonic imperial city is not broken, the demonic imperial city will be with you in the celestial realm. We can use the demonic imperial city as a base to attack the new supreme world. You will all die, haha. Emo Gentian laughed. Although he was laughing, Emo Gentian was very angry. The overall situation was originally in the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan's favor. He had cultivated hard for 8 eras, cultivated to the tribulation of the 9 emperors, and cultivated to the unity of spirit. However, he was still in a passive position. The heavenly desolate city had the heavenly desolate city's city lord, so he could not take it down. Now Knight Sorrow, who had a strong appeal, had appeared, influencing the situation in the celestial realm. Chapter 2094. Let's go. Emo Gentian turned around and left with his people. He couldn't let his people see the aura of the 100 races of the celestial realm skyrocket. It was extremely disadvantageous to their aura. F***ck, what the hell is this? They took the initiative to challenge us, and now they've become soft eggplants. Lin Chuan cursed. He still wanted to fight. Forget it. It's fine as long as we win. We'll fight whenever they come, Yishan said. Lin Chuan, Longjin, you guys stay here. Knight Sorrow, you come back with me. There are some things to take care of. The Grand Elder said as he stood up. Nodding at Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow followed the Grand Elder back to the heavenly desolate city. When Night Sorrow and the Grand Elder returned, the cultivators who were standing at the city gate all stepped back and made way for them. After entering the city gate, the Grand Elder stopped and took 2 steps to the side. Everyone, pay your respects to the human sovereign. Pay our respects to the human sovereign. The cultivators of the 100 races of the celestial realm all bowed to Night Sorrow. Everyone, including the Golden Dragon King, the Heavenly Astral King, Huang Ling, the Green Rock Patriarch, and the others. After speaking, the Grand Elder also bowed to Night Sorrow. Grand Elder, you can't do this. What are you doing? Night Sorrow was anxious. He took 2 steps forward and helped the Grand Elder up. In private, I can be your elder, but as a member of the 100 races of the celestial realm, everyone has to respect the human sovereign. The Grand Elder insisted on saluting and then stood up straight. Everyone, please rise. Night Sorrow is young and doesn't deserve your courtesy. Night Sorrow returned the salute. You deserve it. The energy body of Tran Hung, the mayor of the celestial realm, appeared. I have other things to deal with, so I'm not in the celestial realm. It's a pity that we're not in the celestial realm. In the future, you can make all the decisions in the war against the Demon Wing clan. I believe in you and in every race of the celestial realm. We can overcome the difficulties. After saying a few words, Tran Hung's energy body left. Night Sorrow knew that Tran Hung was busy with other matters. There were still some extraterrestrial forces that needed to be dealt with, so Night Sorrow didn't know what was going on. After that, the Grand Elder brought Night Sorrow, a group of law enforcement elders, and the Council of Elders of the mythological beast clan into his pocket dimension. Now is a special time. The mayor is dealing with some extraterrestrial forces, but the situation is not optimistic. Everyone wants to get a share of the pie and gain some benefits when the new and old supreme worlds are replaced. King Yawu is in seclusion again to make a breakthrough. Therefore, the celestial realm is in a period of weakness. We have to get through this period. Night Sorrow, you have to work hard. The Grand Elder looked at Night Sorrow. Grand Elder, you are too polite. I will fight according to the arrangements of the Council of Elders, Night Sorrow said. Haha, this is something you don't know. I've talked to the City Lord, King Yawu, and everyone else here. I've also announced how to deal with your situation. You're now the law enforcement elder of the Council of Elders. You're also the successor to the City Lord of the Godly Capital and Heavenly Desolate City. You can decide how you want to fight in the future. The Great Elder smiled at Yishan. This is not appropriate. I am young and inexperienced. Don't cause trouble because of dissatisfaction, Night Sorrow said. He didn't care about these things. It is not inappropriate. Just accept it. At the very least, no one can mess around with you. Some unfair things can happen to anyone, but not you, Emperor Tang said. Hearing Tangzong's words, Xiao Jun stood up. Law Enforcement Elder Yi, you're magnanimous and magnanimous. You won't argue with Xiao Jun, but Xiao Jun still wants to apologize. However, Xiao Jun also hopes that Law Enforcement Elder Yi can rest assured. Xiao Jun has always been thinking about the overall situation of the Heaven Realm. We already talked about this last time. Elder Xiao, please don't think too much about it. I was exiled once, and I was indeed angry at that time. However, this was also part of my growth. That time, I received Master Wushuang's inheritance. After that, Martial Uncle took great care of me. I should be the one thanking Elder Xiao, Yishang said with a smile. Since you said so, I feel much better. The knot in my heart has been completely untied. I will treat you to a drink later. Xiao Jun saluted Night Sorrow. Haha, I have to accept this. Let's have a drink together later. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow, I have already informed everyone that you are the law enforcement elder. Your orders are valid in the Council of Elders and in the Heaven Wasteland Army. You can make the decision on the deployment of the Heaven Wasteland Army. The Grand Elder went straight to the point and spoke of his purpose of looking for Night Sorrow. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Night Sorrow and the others left the Grand Elder's small space world. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow went to the encampment of the Heaven Wasteland Army and found the commander. The 8th commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army, Lu Chang, pays his respects to law enforcement elder Knight. The commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army bowed to Knight Sorrow. How about this? You take your men and report to Samsara Island. You can communicate with the other forces. You can practice Samsara Island's tactical formations and combat skills, Knight Sorrow said. Patriarch Knight. Does that mean our 8th alliance will belong to Samsara Island from now on? Lu Chang's eyes lit up. Yes, go. Go report to Nanyong. You are all commanders, but Nanyong and the others are more familiar with Samsara Island. Show them some respect. Knight Sorrow nodded. Don't worry, Patriarchy. Lu Chang will take care of this. Lu Chang was very excited. Initial E% Hair Samsara Island was now one of the signboards of the 100 Races Alliance, and was a very powerful force. The members of the Heaven Wasteland Army were very envious because the Heaven Wasteland Army, which used to be the same as them, was no longer on the same level as them. Also, inform the 1st Army and the Deicide Squad to report to Tianhuang City, Knight Sorrow said to Lu Chang. After making the necessary arrangements, Knight Sorrow arrived at the gate of Nirvana City. Sister Xian, or are they here yet? How can they be so fast? They're scared of you, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. I'll ask the 1st Army and the Deicide Squad to come back. From now on, they'll stay here and watch the next battle and learn from it, Knight Sorrow said. Lin Piaomiao, Yang Lei, Aoi, and the others all nodded. That's good. We still have to fight. We can't delay our cultivation. Knight Sorrow said and landed on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge in a flash. After arriving at a suitable place, he stayed behind to cultivate while his doppelganger met up with Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Captain, what's the situation? Will the Patriarch be unhappy with us fighting like this? Long Jin asked when he saw Knight Sorrow return. Chapter 2095. High Position. Captain, what's your position in Tianhuang City? Long Jin asked in surprise. The Grand Elder has arranged a position for me as an elder of the law enforcement clan. However, you have to behave yourselves. The rules of Tianhuang City are rules. If you break them, you will be punished, Knight Sorrow said. An elder of the law enforcement clan? That's impressive. That's definitely a high position in the 100 Races Alliance. Lin Chuan was also surprised. Also, the Lord of Tianhuang City has decided to make Knight Sorrow the young Lord of Tianhuang City. That's impressive. In the Celestial Realm, even an elder of the law enforcement clan has to take orders from Knight Sorrow, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Long Jin, bring some wine. When should we celebrate? Lin Chuan waved his hand at Long Jin. Long Jin smiled and took out a few jars of wine. Not only did he give some to Lin Chuan, but he also gave some to the Grand Elder and Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow has been promoted. Why are you so excited? The Grand Elder asked with a smile. Look at the first chapter of the book. Grand Elder, you don't know. We're not afraid of fighting, but we're afraid of encountering an insensible commander. If we're led into a ditch, then we'll suffer in silence. In the past, Grand Elder Lin and the Great Demon King suffered such a loss. However, the captain is an elder of the law enforcement clan. That won't happen. The captain is an expert in commanding battles. We don't have to worry about that. If we die in a real battle, we won't feel aggrieved. Grand Elder, you can understand that, right? Long Jin said with a smile. Indeed. You should be at ease with the current situation. The Council of Elders is also at ease with you. Although you're young and impetuous, everyone in Samsara Island is reliable. This is recognized by everyone. You have to work hard too. You can't be an emperor, the Grand Elder said to Long Jin. Grand Elder, I haven't cultivated for long. Other than the captain, no one in the celestial realm can compare to me, Long Jin said. Don't be satisfied with your current situation. You must have the mindset to improve yourself. There is no end to cultivation. Hard work will eventually pay off, the Grand Elder said with a chuckle. His main body was cultivating on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, while Knight Sorrow's doppelganger wielded the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear to guard the bridge. What followed was a month of peace. During this month, the demon-winged race did not make any moves. Emojantian did not send out any more troops. He knew in his heart that at this time, the momentum of the 100 races in the celestial realm was at its peak. He wanted to lie low for a while before fighting again. Furthermore, he still had some backup plans that were not in place yet. Since the Demon Wing clan's current tribulation of one sovereign cultivators couldn't take down Night Sorrow, Emojantian contacted the extraterritorial world that had formed an alliance with the Demon Wing clan, asking for reinforcements from the extraterritorial world. There were many extraterrestrial worlds, but they couldn't be compared to the 100 races of the celestial realm and the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland, because they didn't have many members. Although there weren't many of them, there were many experts among them. They were all races with long inheritances, and even Emojantian acknowledged their battle prowess. Currently, they had reached an agreement with the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland to occupy the celestial realm. After occupying the new supreme world, there were more than a dozen extraterritorial worlds that were autonomous. Emojantian had already contacted them. In addition, in Heaven Wasteland, the most famous tribulation of Emperor Cultivator had already entered the tribulation of Emperor level. However, he had yet to come out of seclusion, so Emojantian was waiting. Emojantian was waiting, and so was Night Sorrow. He could afford to wait. His cultivation was going smoothly, and his own momentum had already taken shape. The Emperor realm cultivated the momentum of heaven and earth, borrowing the momentum of heaven and earth to cultivate a domain. A domain was the symbol of an emperor. Tribulation of emperor cultivators strengthened their domain. Their own domain was not only formed by borrowing the momentum of heaven and earth, but also integrated with their own momentum. How many tribulation of emperor cultivators were determined by how many tribulation of emperor cultivators were involved. 10% was equivalent to 1 tribulation of emperor level, and 20% was equivalent to 2 tribulation of emperor. The cultivation of one's own momentum was not easy. Wanting to integrate one's own momentum into heaven and earth was not easy. Before the tribulation of emperor, cultivators comprehended the momentum of heaven and earth, following the heavenly Tao. Tribulation of emperor cultivators cultivated their own momentum, integrating it into heaven and earth, which was rejected by the heavenly Tao. It could be said that they were going against the heavens. The difficulty of cultivation was completely different from before. After all, it involved the Tao. Every cultivator had their own cultivation philosophy. When one reached the tribulation of emperor level, they would form their own Tao. Night Sorrow was currently focusing on the reincarnation Tao. It was extremely difficult to integrate the reincarnation Tao into heaven and earth, forming a domain that he could completely control. The cultivation of one's own momentum was going against the heavens. Night Sorrow also cultivated the reincarnation Tao, which was a combination of attributes, which made it even more difficult. The area where Night Sorrow's main body was located was where his soul power had once integrated into, so it was very easy to cultivate. However, it was also extremely difficult to raise his cultivation level. Fortunately, Night Sorrow was the virtuous sovereign emperor. The heavenly Tao's rejection was weak, so he could cultivate quickly. However, what made Night Sorrow a little conflicted was whether to activate the beginning attribute now or not. If he activated it and cultivated it, then he could improve together with the reincarnation Tao. Otherwise, he would have to go back and cultivate it in the future, which would be a waste of time. If he started cultivating the beginning attribute now, Night Sorrow was worried that it would cause some problems. Unable to make a decision, and King Yawu was in seclusion, Night Sorrow's clone communicated with the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder was clear about Night Sorrow's attributes. In the end, the Grand Elder's opinion was that they could give it a try. After the Grand Elder made this decision, he explained the reason to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's situation was different from others. With the forbidden attribute, the Emperor Tribulation that he initiated didn't count. The next epoch would definitely be the God-destroying tribulation. Therefore, during this period, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry too much about cultivating. After receiving the Grand Elder's opinion, Night Sorrow's main body began to combine the forbidden attribute, beginning attribute. With the void, space-time, and infinity attributes, Night Sorrow didn't have any difficulty fusing the beginning attribute. He completed the combination in 3 days. After the combination, it was at the peak of the intermediate level. The level of the forbidden attribute was determined by the lowest attribute achievement in the combination of attributes. Night Sorrow's infinity attribute was stuck at the Sovereign Emperor realm bottleneck. He had no choice. His main body cultivated his own force. When Night Sorrow's clone wasn't fighting, he cultivated the Infinity Spear art. Now, other than the Infinity attribute, he didn't need to cultivate the other attributes of heaven and earth. The First Army and the God-slaying team had all arrived at Tianhuang City. After learning about Night Sorrow's battle results and situation, they were very anxious. They hoped to fight together with Night Sorrow. Jun Xuanji and Zhu Juyun had also arrived. Their strength had increased rapidly. Jun Xuanji in particular had rejected the negative effects of Mo Tianji's memories. However, he had absorbed all the cultivation insights. He had improved without any bottlenecks. In a short time, he had already reached the Sovereign Emperor realm. In addition, the higher-ups of the Humanitarian League had also arrived. This was because the Nirvana City Gate was now guarded by the Humanitarian League. Chapter 2096. Peng Wanli and Kei Wu had both entered the Imperial Emperor realm. Although they were only early-stage Imperial Emperors, they were considered mid-tier. When the Great Elder who was patrolling the city gate saw Wu Feng, he nodded seriously. Very good. How is Ancestor Feng? Grand Elder, I don't understand what you're saying. You might have mistaken me for someone else. Wu Feng cupped his hands and bowed to the Grand Elder. Haha. I can recognize the wind origin force of the Feng family. You don't have to hide it. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the Wind Realm have been allies for many years. The Grand Elder smiled. Grand Elder, you've misunderstood. I'm not trying to hide anything. I know I'm from the Wind Realm, but other than my father, I don't have any interaction with the Wind Realm. There are many reasons. Wu Feng explained. No interaction? It seems there are some things. Don't worry, come find me later. I know one of your ancestors, and we have a good relationship. I'll see if I can help you solve some problems. The Grand Elder nodded to Wu Feng and left. He just walked around Tianhuang City. It was a habit. Wu Feng, your family might be from another realm, an ally of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, Lin Piaomiao said. She knew about the Wind Realm, and came to this conclusion from the Grand Elder's words. In the past, I had cold poison in my body, so some things weren't obvious. After Night Sorrow dealt with the cold poison, there was a strange energy in my body. I don't know what it is, but it should be the wind origin force that the Grand Elder talked about. Wu Feng nodded. Sister Xianer, Wu Feng and I sneaked into the Nining clan's base once, but we found that everything had changed. That area was different from before. Even the drowning pond that left a deep impression in Wu Feng's mind was gone. Song Ning explained some details. She and Wu Feng investigated carefully, but they couldn't find any clues. In the end, the clairvoyant divined that some time ago, the energy in the Nining clan's territory changed, and everything disappeared. Looks like things aren't as simple as they seem. Later on, I'll check the records and see if there are any clues. Lin Piaomiao nodded at Wu Feng. Sister Xianer, the Grand Elder sent Wu Feng over. Let's ask the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder should know about the Celestial Realm, Song Ning said. In the evening, Lin Piaomiao brought Wu Feng and Song Ning to see the Grand Elder, and told him about Wu Feng's situation. The Wind Realm and the Nining clan are forces that ordinary people don't know about. They're both foreign worlds. The difference for the Celestial Realm is that one is an ally, while the other is an enemy. The Wind Realm is an ally of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. They're willing to fight with us against the demon wings of Heaven Wasteland. The Nining world is different. They're not willing. They want to take advantage of the situation. When the City Lord gave them a choice, their main force in the Celestial Realm, the Nining clan, chose to run away and left the Celestial Realm, the Grand Elder said. Grand Elder, with Wu Feng's cultivation, he can't return to his family. As for the Nining clan, I don't want to talk about the grudge between us anymore. However, my father was beaten into the drowning pond. As a son, there are some things I must do, Wu Feng said. You're right. Later, I'll contact the Wind Realm. The Feng family doesn't have many people. They'll be happy to know of your existence. The Grand Elder nodded at Wufeng. Lin Piumiao brought Wufeng and Song Ning out of the Grand Elder's small world. Wufeng, things are clear now. However, you have to know that if the Nining clan fights against the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, you'll have to make a choice, Lin Piumiao said. Don't worry, Battle Emperor. I know what's right and wrong. Wufeng nodded. It's been so many years. You still don't want to change the way you address me. Suit yourself. Lin Piumiao shook her head. When Wufeng and Song Ning got married, Lin Piumiao told Wufeng that she and Song Ning were sisters. He could call her sister in the future, but Wufeng still called her Battle Emperor. Sister Xian Air, my mighty brother-in-law has been staying on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge all this time? Doesn't he know to come back and rest? He's still a little slow. Song Ning looked at Night Sorrow's figure on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Don't make up stories. Be careful that Night Sorrow's brothers don't strangle you. He's cultivating now. Lin Piumiao smiled. She was happy that Song Ning was by her side. Other than the Yi clan, Song Ning was her only relative. Where's Xiaokei? That little guy used to pay his respects to me. Now he's gone. Song Ning said. Lin Piumiao's child was her most important relative. He's in the 9-domain world. He's cultivating in Night Sorrow's old cultivation area. Lin Piumiao said. Song Ning was stunned for a moment before he asked. Are you sure you're not mistaken, Sister Xian? His cultivation base has risen too quickly. Although his bloodline and talent are good, it's not a good thing for his cultivation base to rise too quickly. What Yishang and I think is that he needs to suppress it and stabilize his cultivation base. Lin Piumiao shook her head. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow's original body was sitting at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda. He was cultivating his own force in the time acceleration. Actually, this force was also called Tao. Why was Mo Tianji's original body so powerful and hard to damage? Because her cultivation level was high and her body was filled with Tao. Zit forever. Forever. Exempt. Fei looks at Little E says forth the signature of an Emperor Realm cultivator was the domain. The signature of an Emperor Realm cultivator was the Tao domain. It was a domain that merged with one's own Tao. Night Sorrow's current cultivation was in two directions. One was the reincarnation Tao domain, and the other was the primordial Tao domain. Everything was going smoothly. However, Night Sorrow knew that it wasn't that easy to raise his cultivation level. Even if he felt it, even if there was no bottleneck, he still needed time to reach the second Emperor Realm. The Heavenly Tao determined that there would only be one Emperor Tribulation every 100 billion years. This showed how difficult it was for an Emperor Tribulation cultivator to raise his cultivation level. Night Sorrow's clone, Lin Chuan, and Long Jin stayed in the area isolated from the Nirvana storm by the Array Formation. They were drinking wine. Because of the Nirvana storm, only emperors could survive on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Night Sorrow and the others decided to block the Demon-Winged clan. In order to be more comfortable, Night Sorrow set up an array formation to isolate the Nirvana storm. This way, the three of them would be more comfortable. Actually, it wasn't just the three of them. After the array formation was set up, they stayed behind a little. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi's clone, who were worried about Night Sorrow, also entered the array formation. The Grand Elder told Night Sorrow about Wufeng's arrival and what happened to him. Big brother Wufeng no longer has any feelings for the Nining clan. Even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. When Wufeng's mother attacked, she destroyed the most precious mother-son relationship in the world, Yi Shan whispered. He felt sorrow for Wufeng. Chapter 2097. So you're saying that the Wind Realm will help Brother Wufeng? Night Sorrow asked. The Wind Realm's Feng family doesn't have many people. In fact, they're pitifully few. There might not even be 20 true core members, but these 20 people are all experts because they have the wind origin power bestowed upon them by the Heavenly Tao. Wufeng has the wind origin power, which is the mark of a core member of the Wind Realm's Feng family. If he's a core member, then his father is naturally one too. The Nining tribe tricked their core member, so how can this matter be resolved so easily? Whose child isn't a child? The Grand Elder said. Then what's the situation with the Nine tribe? Are they also very powerful? Lin Chuan asked. The Nine tribe in the Celestial Realm used to be a gateway to the Celestial Realm. It's a gateway for the members of the Nine tribe to train and understand the Celestial Realm. You can't use the Nine tribe to measure the strength of the Nine tribe, the Grand Elder explained. This kind of extraterrestrial force is very difficult to deal with. Knight Sorrow shook his head. In a war, the ones who decide the outcome are the top cultivators. Right now, only the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance and the Devil Wing race of Wasteland have top cultivators. Even if extraterrestrial forces like the Nine tribe are strong, they don't have a backbone, so they have to rely on them, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then why don't they rely on the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance? Why do they have to go against us and become the Devil Wing race's lackeys? I'm really puzzled, Longjin muttered. Then the Grand Elder gave an answer. All along, the Celestial Realm had been ruled by the 100 Races Alliance. Some extraterrestrial forces couldn't obtain much benefits from negotiating with the Celestial Realm's 100 races. However, they could negotiate with the Devil Wing race of Wasteland. The Devil Wing race was able to make promises in the midst of benefits that didn't belong to them. This was the fundamental difference. Some of the outer realms with great wolf-like natures were willing to fight alongside the Devil-Winged clan in order to obtain greater benefits. After listening to the Grand Elder's answer, Knight Sorrow's trio understood that this was a choice. It was a choice between risk and benefit. The Celestial Realm is the world of the 100 Races Alliance. It's not that other forces can't develop, but they can't do it without a bottom line. If you insist on giving them a large portion of the territory, and then we can't ask about it, that in itself is a hidden danger. That's why we aren't willing. In the future, it will be even more impossible for them to become nobles in the 9 domains world. Lu Qi said. It's like if someone comes to our house and insists on giving them a living room or a bedroom. If their table manners are too unsightly, we'll start fighting, Longjin said. I like your aura the most. Cultivators should be like this. If you're not convinced, then fight. Fight until you're convinced. The 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm is determined to do so, Lu Qi said. Knight Sorrow, there's still an era left. Many things will happen in this era, but one thing is of the utmost importance, and that is the safety of the 9 domains world. After this cycle ends, the deserted world will be destroyed, and the Celestial Realm will become a sub-supreme world. At that time, the 9 domains world will be the core of the human race and the 100 Races Alliance. If you don't object, we should do some appropriate migration, because the cultivation conditions in the Celestial Realm will be much worse, the Grand Elder said. Hearing the Grand Elder's words, Knight Sorrow fell into deep thought. This was a huge problem, one that concerned the future of the 9 domains world. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow looked up at the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, since we're on this topic, there are some things I have to say first, because I have some concerns. Okay, go ahead. The Grand Elder nodded. The 9 domains world used to be very stable, because I wanted to fight for the world. I wanted to fight, so the 9 domains world suffered a lot that shouldn't have. There were even outsiders. I have to be responsible for the 9 domains world. In the future, migration is possible, but first they have to abide by the rules of the 9 domains world. Also, those with higher cultivation than me can't enter. Even if you think I'm selfish, I can't do anything about it. Knight Sorrow said. He didn't think it was appropriate to talk like this, but for the native creatures of the 9 domains world, Knight Sorrow had to say it. Ha! Don't worry, you have the final say. No one will use force against you, and no one has the qualifications to do so. Also, there will be people who think you're selfish, but that's from a narrow point of view. People who look at the bigger picture will understand that this is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. I hope that the future sovereign world will be stable, and all unstable factors must be eliminated, the Grand Elder said with a smile. You're the Realm Lord, and those with lower cultivation than you can't cause any waves in the 9 domains world. Therefore, we won't allow those with higher cultivation than you to enter. This is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. We will all support your decision. Of course, you have to cultivate quickly. Otherwise, when will we be able to enter? Lu Qi said with a smile. Seventh Elder, there are some things you don't understand. Knight Sorrow shook his head. You're still talking about me. Tell me what I don't understand. Lu Qi smiled and looked at Knight Sorrow. These things will come to a conclusion after an epoch. At that time, I'll still be alive. That means I'll have passed the God-destroying tribulation. After passing the God-destroying tribulation, who will I be afraid of? Whoever wants to enter can enter. On the other hand, I can't care about what happens after an epoch. My family still needs Seventh Elder and Grand Elder to look after. Knight Sorrow said. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, everyone fell silent. Lu Qi had indeed forgotten this point. Knight Sorrow only had one epoch's time. You're all silent? You don't believe me. Knight Sorrow said. We believe you. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at Knight Sorrow and nodded. I also believe in myself. Knight Sorrow smiled. Knight Sorrow, don't laugh. I'm not being perfunctory. I really believe in you. You're different from the masters who have been born in countless reincarnations. You're fundamentally different. Let me tell you the reasons why I believe in you. First, in the past celestial realm, it was very difficult for taboo attributes to appear. Even if it did, it was only a single attribute. No one was like you, having two taboo attributes at the same time. Second, in the past, there were no cultivators who had achieved success in both physical and spiritual cultivation. Even if there were, it had nothing to do with taboo attributes and the body of merit. Third, and most important, you belong to the new supreme world. You're the first human sovereign of the new supreme world. You have the luck of the rising sun in your body. At the same time, you've also gained the recognition of the origin of the celestial realm. You've risen with the luck of two supreme worlds. This is unstoppable. Tell me, do I have a reason to believe in you? The Grand Elder said. He was cheering for Knight Sorrow and giving Knight Sorrow more reasons to believe in himself. Forever you free, I'll look at little K say 7Y. Chapter 2098. It seems like there are still many reasons for me to believe in myself. Then I'll just have to work hard. Knight Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders were saying these words to support and encourage him. Also, I would like to correct your point of view. Don't think that you brought anything bad to the 9-domain world. Without you, there wouldn't be the 9-domain world today. You didn't do anything wrong to anyone, nor do you owe anyone anything. Is the 9-domain world not good now? You brought them a brand new world. The other 9-domain worlds will be promoted to the Supreme Domain world and merge with the cultivators of the 100 races. Don't tell me that they don't work hard and live in mediocrity, looking up to giants? The Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, for clearing my doubts. Knight Sorrow understands. Knight Sorrow nodded. As a person, you will never be able to satisfy everyone's wishes and needs. It's enough to satisfy the majority. There's nothing perfect in this world. Don't give yourself more burdens. We feel uncomfortable just looking at you. Lu Qi said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and Lu Qi had experienced many things and were wise. Emo Zhantian didn't bring anyone over, but he didn't leave either. He found a stronghold in the Tianhuang Mountains and stationed his people there. Normally, he wouldn't do this because he would be easily attacked. However, he dared to do so now because the celestial realm wouldn't easily start a war. Without a war, Knight Sorrow cultivated in peace. His doppelganger still focused on cultivating the limitless spear arts. He wanted to increase his proficiency in the limitless spear arts. Knight Sorrow's main body would get up every once in a while to cultivate the limitless spear arts, drawing the limitless energy into his body. While cultivating the precept domain, he also tried to increase the limitless attribute of the heavenly Tao. 2 months later, the demon-winged clan came again under Emo Zhantian's lead. However, there were still no Emperor Tribulation cultivators. You're here to die again. Life and death, life and death. Can't you tell? Lin Chuan stood up and sighed. At that moment, Knight Sorrow, who was wielding the blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear, trembled. At the same time, his main body, which was cultivating the limitless attribute, was also shaken. The limitless attribute that he cultivated lacked a sense of continuity. Life and death itself was a cycle, a process that repeated itself over and over again. It was the process of reincarnation between life and death. Enlightenment. A moment was enough. Night Sorrow's main body's understanding of the limitless attributes' power of heaven and earth increased by a fraction. This fraction was like a needle that directly pierced through the bottleneck of Night Sorrow's limitless attribute. Next, Night Sorrow's aura changed. His aura spread out a few times before returning to his body. While Lin Chuan's true self stabilized his realm, Night Sorrow's avatar laughed. Lin Chuan, thank you. Your words enlighten me. You and Longjin should hurry up and deal with them, then drink to celebrate. Grand Commander, what's going on? Your aura hasn't changed, and you haven't broken through. Lin Chuan didn't take Emojantian and the devil-winged clan's people seriously. He was still conversing with Night Sorrow. My realm hasn't broken through, but the effect of your words is more useful than breaking through a few realms. I'll tell you later. Night Sorrow was extremely happy. The bottleneck of the limitless attribute was too difficult to break through. In the past few days, he didn't have a clue at all. He even doubted if he could break through. Now this puzzle was solved. To Night Sorrow, the breakthrough of the limitless attribute was an increase in the level and quality of his taboo attribute, breaking through from intermediate to advanced. After hearing Yi Shang's words, the Great Elder understood. He knew that Yi Shang's situation was even more important than breaking through to the next realm, and that was to raise the level of his forbidden attribute. Come. Our Grand Commander is in a good mood today, so I'll kill a few cats and dogs to liven things up. Lin Chuan held the battle blade in his right hand and hooked his pinky finger at Emojantian and the others. Too cheap, but I like it. Longjin smiled at Lin Chuan. The battle started, and Lin Chuan showed his prowess again. Even if he understood him, it was useless. Knowing and being able to break through were two different things. After killing a devil-winged clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Lin Chuan retreated when another devil-winged clan member rushed out. I'm not afraid of you. Our Grand Commander said that we'll only deal with you in the morning. If you have the ability, don't be a coward. I'll deal with you in the afternoon. Lin Chuan kept his battle blade and took a few steps back with a cheap smile on his face. The devil-winged clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator was so angry that his eyes were burning. However, Lin Chuan didn't care about him anymore. If he doesn't want to play, I'll play with you. But it's still a battle. Who wants to die first? Choose first. Longjin waved his wave blade and hooked his pinky finger like Lin Chuan. There was no suspense in the battle. The half-dragon Longjin brandished the tsunami saber, sending out endless saber moves, directly killing his opponent. Friends, the battle in the morning is over. Lin Chuan, go carve your name on the battle plate. Longjin waved his wave blade and shouted at Lin Chuan. All right. Lin Chuan responded and began to carve the words. Did you see that? Killing the enemy while talking and laughing. You have to learn something. Emperor Tang arrived at the city gate and said to the cultivators of Heaven Wasteland City who were watching. They're too strong. It would be great if we could join the Samsara Island, a captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army said. Don't find excuses for your lack of effort and failure. The Heaven Wasteland Army of Samsara Island has the same starting point as you. It's just that they work harder. Xiao Jun glared at the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. Original T. Chapter U. Part 1 Inch Law Enforcing Elder Xiao. The Samsara Island has joint attacks and someone to teach them. We can't do that. The captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army retorted in a low voice. That's the truth. Let's talk about it later. Those secret techniques belong to the commander of the Samsara Island. Xiao Jun agreed with the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. It's different in terms of resources. Night Sorrow and the others can accumulate resources. Other than the Saint Spirit Stones obtained from the Samsara Island, the Samsara Island also has the Saint Spirit Stones provided by him. Now, the members of the Demon Wing clan don't wear storage rings when they fight. However, they were robbed of many resources some time ago. Night Sorrow isn't stingy, so the cultivation resources of the Samsara Island are saturated. Emperor Tang said. What does this mean? It means that they are ruthless and can eat meat. Those who are not ruthless and incapable can't even drink soup, Xiao Jun said. At this moment, on the city gate of Heaven Wasteland City, Lin Piaomiao was explaining the key points of the two battles to Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu, watch carefully. You'll be fighting later. Right now, we're lacking an invincible emperor, Lin Chuan said. I understand. I'll fight later. If you guys can do it, there's no reason why I can't. Xiao Gu nodded and was filled with fighting spirit. Chapter 2099. Emo Zhantian was truly angry. He could endure it if he couldn't deal with Night Sorrow. However, the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor Realm experts kept sending themselves to their deaths. Not to mention the losses, it was very embarrassing. The members of the Devil-Winged race were very angry. They couldn't fight, so their auras were suppressed. On the other hand, Night Sorrow and the others were in high spirits. The main reason was that Night Sorrow was very happy because he had made great progress in his cultivation. Don't be a coward. Come out and fight if you have the ability. A Devil-Winged race's Emperor Tribulation cultivator roared at Night Sorrow and the others. What are you shouting for? What are you shouting for? Don't bare your fangs and brandish your claws. I've always been here. Where are your people? Come and fight. Night Sorrow snorted at the Devil-Winged race's shouts. Night Sorrow's words silenced the Devil-Winged race's shouts. He had hit them where it hurt. None of the Emperor Tribulation cultivators in the Devil-Winged race's camp could challenge Night Sorrow. Even Emo Zhantian admitted this point. They couldn't avoid it even if they wanted to. Why aren't you shouting? Can't you shout? F***CK. All of you shut up. Lin Chuan pointed at the Devil-Winged race's camp. Seeing Lin Chuan's gesture, the Devil-Winged race's members all unsheathed their battle blades. However, they were stopped by Emo Zhantian. If a group battle broke out, none of them would be able to return. At this moment, a loud roar came from the Tianhuang city's gate tower. This is so satisfying. Brother-in-law is so domineering. Song Ning said excitedly. Comfortable. This is how wars should be fought. This is how problems can be solved in comfort. Heavenly Astral Monarch, who was also watching from the city gate tower, said to the Grand Elder who was walking over. Strange. Normally, the Devil-Winged race wouldn't do this. Could it be that they have a backup plan? The Grand Elder found a seat on the city gate tower and sat down. That shouldn't be the case. Currently, they can't break through this situation. Night Sorrow is their obstacle, Huang Ling said. The Grand Elder nodded. They don't want Night Sorrow to fight. Actually, I don't want that either. If Night Sorrow can rise steadily, there's no need to fight like this. It's too much of a risk. During the first battle, the opponent used a self-destruct tactic. That means that they want to take down Night Sorrow at all costs. They know how important Night Sorrow is. The Heavenly Astral King and Huang Ling nodded. In the past, they did not understand Night Sorrow's situation. Now that they understood, they naturally understood the importance of Night Sorrow to the celestial realm. Right now our morale is high. If we can fight, we'll persevere. If we can't and there's danger, we'll let those brats come back. We've profited. We can retreat at any time. Whether we fight or retreat, it's up to us, the Golden Dragon King, who had been sitting on the city gate tower, said. In the evening, there were 2 more battles. However, these 2 battles were very difficult. Lin Chuan and Long Jin were both injured. The 2 Devil-Winged race members were extremely strong. Lin Chuan and Long Jin had won a Pyrrhic victory. Lin Chuan had been seriously injured by the other party's self-destruction. Long Jin's opponent was the same. He was good at soul attacks. When the soul attack affected Long Jin, he also self-destructed, making Long Jin dizzy. Long Jin's left arm was blown away. It was later picked up and reattached, but the injury was very serious. Listen up. We won't play tomorrow's challenges at other levels. Let's rest for a few days. I, Night Sorrow, will stand here. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Glancing at Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow told the Devil-Winged race about tomorrow's situation. As timid as a mouse. Emo Lu of the Devil-Winged race scolded. Emo Lu had just passed by, and he had sent a group of combatants. Shut up. If you're not as timid as a mouse, then what about your first Emperor Tribulation cultivators? I'll also accept the second Emperor Tribulation cultivators. Do you dare to play? If you don't dare to play, then don't waste time. Knight Sorrow replied. He felt that the devil-winged race was very shameless. There were some things that both sides didn't want to talk about, but they just had to take advantage of the situation. Emo Gentian left with the devil-winged race. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't want to play, and Knight Sorrow couldn't take them down. So, they could only retreat. After the devil-winged race left, Knight Sorrow's energy burst out and wrapped Lin Chuan and Long Jin up, returning to the top of the city gate of Tianhuang City. From tomorrow onwards, the two of you won't fight. Knight Sorrow said to Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Leader, we're injured, but we can still fight after we recover. Long Jin said. Lin Chuan was also very anxious. Can't you see that the last two people they sent out are problematic? They've been specially strengthened, and are very effective against you. If you continue to fight, you won't have a good time. Execute the order. Knight Sorrow glared at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't say anything. They wanted to fight, but they had to execute Knight Sorrow's order. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, you have to listen to Knight Sorrow. In terms of strength and eyesight, you're much weaker than Knight Sorrow. The last two people they sent out have been specially strengthened to counter you. Their purpose is to fight the two of you. The Grand Elder said. Then Xiaogu stood out and expressed his intention to fight. Knight Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao because he didn't know Xiaogu's current strength. Noticing Knight Sorrow's gaze, Lin Piaomiao nodded. Currently, Xiaogu was an expert in the Imperial Emperor realm. Okay. Then Xiaogu, come with me. We'll play with them for a while, and let them know that no matter what level they're at, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm can do it. Knight Sorrow didn't reject Xiaogu's request to fight. He trusted Xiaogu because he had a good foundation. After arranging things, Knight Sorrow didn't leave immediately. He stood on top of the city gate and chatted with everyone. Knight Sorrow confirmed that the Golden Dragon King's clone wasn't on Reincarnation Island. He didn't want Reincarnation Island to be destroyed after he left. The Golden Dragon King gave him an affirmative answer. Then Knight Sorrow asked about Emo Tianji's situation. Oh. Hearing Knight Sorrow's question, the Grand Elder and Lin Piaomiao shook their heads because there was no news yet. Captain, you can release my soul seal later. I can sense where she is, Jun Xuanji, who was with the members of the God-slaying team, said. No, Xuanji, your soul can't be affected. You should cultivate first. When your soul is truly stable, you can release your soul seal and fight with Emo Tianji. That's the safest way. The Grand Elder shook his head and refused. That's right. She's stronger than you, so her soul can affect you. When your level is high enough, you'll be able to affect her, the Golden Dragon King said. It's not that complicated. Emo Tianji cultivates the Heartless Tao, but I don't. I can find someone I like and marry. What can she do to me? At that time, I'll be the one affecting her. We don't know who's stronger, Jun Xuanji said. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and find someone to marry, Tianyu said. Chapter 2100. Tianyu was stunned. He didn't understand why Jun Xuanji was so angry. However, they were brothers and sisters who had fought together. Even if Jun Xuanji scolded him, he couldn't scold him back or say anything. There was an awkward silence. No one understood what was going on. Jun Xuanji took a deep breath and looked at Tianyu. Tianyu, thank you for going easy on me. I couldn't control my anger just now. I'm sorry. What are you saying? If you were in a bad mood, everyone would have gone easy on you. Tianyu shook his head. He didn't care about this at all. There was no such thing as losing face between brothers and sisters. Generous. It's my fortune to be brothers and sisters with all of you. Unlike some people, humph. Jun Xuanji snorted as he patted Tianyu's shoulder. That one sentence and snort conveyed a lot of information. Datira and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other before turning their heads to the side. Only the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders are on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It's not appropriate. Everyone continue chatting. Xiaogu, let's go. Night Sorrow wrapped Xiaogu with his energy and jumped off the Nirvana city gates. Then he flew towards the array formation that Night Sorrow had set up. Ahem. Long Jin, Lin Chuan, the two of you recuperate first. We'll celebrate later. The Grand Elder coughed dryly to resolve the awkwardness. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that something was wrong. However, they couldn't say anything unless they were involved. When they reached the array formation, Night Sorrow put Xiaogu down and wiped his forehead. There's no need to think. This matter has something to do with you. The Grand Elder's clone said. This? I don't really understand. Night Sorrow didn't know how to lie and didn't want to lie. Seeing Lu Qi's confusion, the Grand Elder told him what had happened. Lu Qi's clone was in Xingyue City while his original body was here. Therefore, he didn't know what had happened on the Nirvana city gates. Night Sorrow, you're attracting bees. If you bring a good woman home, countless men will silently stab you in their hearts, Lu Qi said. Seventh Elder, you can't blame me for this. I've been avoiding it all this time, Night Sorrow explained helplessly. Haha. I'm just joking with you. There are some things that can't be explained clearly. Back when Elder Lin followed me to familiarize herself with the position of discipline elder, she was wavering between the path of emotions and the path of heartlessness. If you were that kind of person, then success would follow naturally. Would she need to waver? Therefore, I know what kind of person you are. However, this is also a sin. Lu Qi shook his head. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi didn't try to persuade him any further because Night Sorrow wasn't a child. He had a family and children, so he had his own judgment on certain matters. Oh right, let me confirm. Did your limitless attribute advance? He could not ask in front of others, but now that there were no outsiders, he naturally had to confirm. When I heard Lin Chuan's words, I was somewhat moved and advanced. Now my reincarnation and primordial attributes are both at the advanced level. Night Sorrow nodded. The Grand Elder paced back and forth twice. Night Sorrow, let's go back. We're not fighting anymore. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, Grand Elder. Why would you suddenly have such a thought? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder in surprise. Because you are destined to rise. Now is not the time to take on such risks. The Grand Elder gave the reason. Night Sorrow smiled. Grand Elder, don't you understand? Resistance is my path. In the past 1,000 years, other than the period when I was unconscious, I was fighting. Comfort is not my path. If you don't let a bird fly, it might forget how to fly after a long time. Grand Elder, Night Sorrow is right. Comfort is mediocrity. The strong cannot look up to others in mediocrity. Lu Qi supported Night Sorrow's decision. Looking at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder nodded. He was worried, not that he did not understand. Then, Night Sorrow asked about King Yewu's situation. He was very concerned about King Yewu. You don't have to worry about that. He is in seclusion. In the past, Emo Zhantian was not King Yewu's opponent. This time, Emo Zhantian suddenly became stronger because he took the final step. His original body and doppelganger's souls merged. King Yewu has not taken this step yet, so he is in seclusion. Once he passes this step, it will be easy to suppress him. Emo Zhantian and Emo Yutian both have one doppelganger, while King Yewu has two doppelganger. After the original body and doppelganger merge, it is obvious who is stronger. The Grand Elder explained King Yewu's situation. Then I am relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. It is just a matter of time. It may be long or short. The Grand Elder smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow was a kind person who respected his elders. This was also a kind of virtue. Emo Zhantian did not bring anyone to battle because he could not win the battle. Lin Chuan and Long Jin were not going to battle. He wanted to win once, but he could not even replenish his aura. Emo Lu, are they not here yet? Emo Zhantian asked. They will be here soon. The Outer Realm has sent Emperor Tribulation cultivators, and Emperor Tribulation cultivators on the way. Our 100 Kings tribes geniuses are also coming out of seclusion. Emo Lu bowed. Emo Zhantian nodded. He was a little anxious because the situation had to be changed. With more reinforcements coming, he felt more at ease. However, he knew that since the reinforcements were here, They had to be strengthened specifically to deal with night sorrow, and the other two. Thinking of this, Emo Gentian was furious. He could think of ways to deal with Lin Chuan and Long Jin. He could train his subordinates to deal with them, but he could not do anything about night sorrow. In the battle with night sorrow, many Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wings tribe had died. However, they still could not find out where night sorrow's weakness was. In other words, even with his soul unification realm cultivation base, he could not guide his elites to deal with night sorrow. After thinking for a while, Emo Gentian could not come up with a good plan. He could only wait and see. As for the elites of the Demon Wings tribe, Emo Gentian did not see them, and did not know how strong they were. Two special cultivators came to Tianhuang City. They were brought by the Grand Elder. Both of them were wearing green robes with golden edges. They were here to look for Wufeng. They were from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. When he saw Wufeng, the elder's eyes lit up. Grand Elder. That's right. They are from our Feng family. Wufeng, they are from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. The Grand Elder said to Wufeng. Why are you called Wufeng? You are from the Feng family. How can you be called by this name? The middle-aged man was dissatisfied. It's not the wind attribute. It's the Feng from the edge. My father doesn't want me to reveal my edge, and bring about a fatal disaster. Wufeng explained. Our Feng family's child can't reveal his edge? Ah. The middle-aged man roared in anger. Yin Xiao, calm down. The elder patted the middle-aged man's shoulder. Chapter 2101. Let's find a place to talk, the Grand Elder said. He knew that there were still many details to be discussed. The elder nodded. He had many things to ask Wufeng. When Wufeng brought Song Ning and the Grand Elder out of Nirvana City's gate, Feng Yunxiao turned to look at Song Ning, an energy storm spinning in his eyes. This is my wife, Song Ning, Edgeless explained. Wife, very good. The energy storm in Feng Yunxiao's eyes disappeared, and was replaced by calmness. When they arrived at the Grand Elder's small space world, Wufeng explained his situation. He didn't reject returning to his family because it wasn't his family that had abandoned him and his father. Second Master, the timeline matches. It should be during that great battle. My brother was injured and his soul had a problem. After that he never returned to the family. Instead, he went to the Nine Yin tribe's territory. Feng Yunxiao looked at the elder man after hearing Wufeng's story. Wufeng is from the Feng family, that's for sure. However, there are many problems. Your brother is from the Feng family of the Wind Realm, and has wind origin energy. The Nine Yin tribe should recognize him. Could it be that he didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived? Wufeng, do you remember your father's situation? The elder of the Feng family, Feng Yuexin, asked Wufeng. Wufeng thought for a moment and said, nothing special. Most of the time he wasn't awake. The time he was awake was very short, and he didn't have wind origin energy. Your father didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived at the Nine Yin tribe's territory. Our Feng family doesn't have many members, and your father is the only missing member. Therefore your background can't be wrong. According to seniority, you are my granduncle, and he is your uncle. When our Wind Realm fought against the Sea Serpent tribe, your father was injured and was swept into a space-time storm. His whereabouts were unknown. The family found a diviner to divine his whereabouts, but there was no result. The Nine Yin tribe's territory should have a method to avoid divination, Feng Yuexin said. The Grand Elder told us about the disappearance of the Nine Yin tribe. According to his deduction, their territory should have something like a spatial treasure. However, you don't have to worry. We won't let your father go. The Nine Yin tribe doesn't have the right to be arrogant in front of our Feng family. We can afford it, but we can't let go of the grievances you've suffered. Fortunately, you've settled down and started a family. Uncle is very pleased about this, Feng Yunxiao said. Thank you, uncle. Wufeng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. You don't have to be so courteous with your uncle. You must know that you have a family. No one can bully our Feng family, Feng Yunxiao said. Wufeng, this time, your uncle and I are here mainly for you. Other than that, we have to contribute to the war between the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon-Winged Clan. We won't be leaving for the time being. We have a place to stay. Bring your wife and come with us. You've been wandering outside for many years. You have to learn about the people and matters of the Feng clan, as well as their cultivation techniques and absolute arts, Feng Yuxian said. Wu Feng understands. Wu Feng nodded. Second Master, I plan to investigate the Nining clan, Feng Yunxiao said to Feng Yuxian. So many years have passed, there's no need to rush. The Nining clan in the world of Nining is very ambitious. They will definitely take action in this war, so there's no need to specifically look for them. Once they appear, we can use a secret method to locate their nest, Feng Yuxian said. After thinking for a while, Feng Yunxiao nodded and looked at Wu Feng. Your name might not be right, but this is your father's, my elder brother's effort. Keep it. When you have children in the future, follow the Feng family's genealogy. Thank you, uncle. Wu Feng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. Niece-in-law, I wonder how your wedding went. Once this is over and we return to the Wind World, I'll have Wu Feng hold a proper wedding for you. Feng Yunxiao said to Cong Ning. You're too polite, uncle. The wedding is just a formality. Living a good life is the most important. Also, our wedding was pretty good, Cong Ning said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation v. Night Sorrow learned from the Grand Elder's clone that the people from the Wu Feng family had come, and that Wu Feng had returned to his family. He was happy for Wu Feng because he had experienced the feeling of not having a family and roots. He had also experienced the feeling of searching for a family and relatives. The Nining family has made a big mess. If it was an ordinary matter, it might be able to pass. But this time, not only did Wu Feng and his son suffer humiliation, they also drowned Wu Feng's father. The Feng family will definitely not let this matter rest. The Feng family of the Wind World is not to be trifled with. They are extremely united and protective, the Grand Elder said. I shouldn't comment on other people's family matters, but the Nining family has gone too far. They have no compassion at all and trampled on human relations, Night Sorrow said. The Nining family has already confirmed that they won't stand on the same side as the 100 Races Alliance. Then, they will definitely collude with the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland. A war with them is inevitable, so the dispute is still to come. Night Sorrow, you have to remember that the war to come will be a war between races. As long as they oppose the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance, there is no need to hold back, the Grand Elder reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cultivated. Lu Qi saw that Xiaogu's weapon grade was average, so he asked the Grand Elder to help Xiaogu refine a longsword. Xiaogu and Lu Qi had a very good relationship. He cultivated Lu Qi's sword techniques and could be considered his master. It was just that there was no ceremony at the moment. While Xiaogu was cultivating, Night Sorrow's cultivation did not stop. After breaking through the bottleneck of the peerless attribute, Night Sorrow's cultivation became much easier. His main body cultivated, while his clone cultivated in the 8 Dragon Cauldron's time acceleration. The reincarnation and primordial attributes were greatly improved from intermediate to advanced, allowing Night Sorrow's combat ability to soar. After 2 months of peace, the reinforcements of the Demon-Winged Clan and the elites invited by Emo Zhantian arrived. They were all specially strengthened by Emo Zhantian. When he felt that it was about time, Emo Zhantian brought his people up to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge again. Now he wanted to eliminate the obstacles in the path of the Demon-Winged Clan's rise at all costs. When the Demon-Winged Clan arrived, Lu Qi shook the 8 Dragon Cauldron and called out Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his combat ability, from within. Realm Lord, can Xiaogu fight first this time? Xiaogu asked after glancing at the Demon-Winged Clan's Emperor. Yes, but you have to remember that this is a life-and-death battle. You have to kill your opponent as quickly as possible, Night Sorrow said to Xiaogu. After cupping his fists at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder, and Lu Qi, Xiaogu held his longsword and walked to the front of the stronghold. Xiaogu of Starmoon City is here. Which emperor will fight? Where did this trash come from? Get down. This time, we are going to fight Night Sorrow. Emo Lu looked at Xiaogu with some annoyance. He knew that Emo Zhantian had made some arrangements to deal with Night Sorrow. Chapter 2102. Emo Lu wanted to say something but was stopped by Emo Gentian's raised arm. Battle of the Monarchs. That's fine too. Which one of you will fight? Emo Gentian looked at Xiao Gu and threw out a sentence. He had brought monarch-level cultivators today to observe the battle. Now they could be put to good use. Hearing Emo Gentian's words, the monarchs of the Demon Wing clan stood out in unison. There were more than 10 of them. This was the valiance of a battle clan. They didn't know the situation, but they weren't afraid of death. Xiao Gu, kill one first. Then come back for a cup of tea before we fight. Night Sorrow instructed Xiao Gu. All right. Then I'll kill one and come back for tea. Xiao Gu held his sword and moved forward again, arriving at the center of the two groups. You go. Emo Gentian pointed at one of the monarchs. I'll kill you. The Demon Wing clan's monarch flew out of the Demon Wing clan's camp and flew towards Xiao Gu. The Demon Wing clan's monarch's domain burst forth as he held his saber with both hands. Saber energy pulsed as he slashed at Xiao Gu. I don't know where you get the confidence to talk big. Xiao Gu didn't move. He raised his right hand and the scabbard of his sword flew into the sky. Then, he waved his sword and 3 sword chi flew out rapidly. The 3 sword chi shot out by Xiao Gu were like 3 lightning bolts that streaked across the void. When they appeared again, they were already in front of the Demon Wing clan's domain. One of the sword chi broke through the Demon Wing clan's domain. After that, Xiao Gu's remaining 2 sword chi shot towards the Demon Wing clan's monarch through the gap. Break. The Demon Wing clan's monarch's expression changed drastically as he roared and slashed at the sword chi with his saber. With a crisp sound, the Demon Wing clan's monarch's saber was broken by the sword chi. The 3rd sword chi arrived and directly pierced through the Demon Wing clan's monarch's forehead. Kill. Xiao Gu killed the Demon Wing clan's monarch with 1 move and 3 sword chi. Soaring sword energy. I didn't expect you to be Lu Qi's disciple. Very good. Emo Gentian narrowed his eyes as he looked at Xiao Gu, who was collecting the Demon Wing clan's monarch's storage ring. Lu Qi. He knew that Xiao Gu was Lu Qi's ultimate skill. Not at the moment, but if he is willing, he can become one at any time. Lu Qi smiled. He was very satisfied with Xiao Gu's battle achievements. After collecting the Demon Wing's Sovereign Emperor's storage ring, Xiao Gu returned to Night Sorrow's side. Domain Lord Xiao Gu killed him. Clean and efficient, very good. Night Sorrow patted Xiao Gu's shoulder. The battle between the Imperial Emperors is over. It's Night Sorrow's turn. Do you have the guts to fight? A first Emperor Tribulation cultivator walked out from the Demon Wing clan's camp. He was the first Sovereign Tribulation cultivator invited by the Demon Wing clan, Han Qingyun. He had also received pointers from Emo Gentian. I didn't want to fight, but since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Come. Night Sorrow raised his blood-chilling evil punishing spear and walked between the two groups. Die. Han Qingyun's body flashed as he waved his spear and flew towards Night Sorrow. As he flew, a white spear light appeared on his spear. The spear light became more and more solid. At the same time, he also launched a soul attack. The white soul power condensed into rings and flew towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stood still. However, he used his soul power to activate the Green Lotus Jade Bangle. An emerald green halo rippled in all directions, blocking Han Qingyun's soul attack outside the domain. By the time Han Qingyun arrived in front of Yishang had finished releasing his spacetime Dao domain and slowed Han Qingyun down. Die. Han Qingyun's speed slowed down, but the energy in his spear was ready. He stabbed his spear towards Night Sorrow. Original 5 songs H/D Spacetime Realm. Night Sorrow used the spacetime realm and disappeared from the celestial realm. He went to a different space, causing Han Qingyun's attack to miss. After dodging Han Qingyun's attack, Night Sorrow's body flashed and appeared in the celestial realm again. He appeared beside Han Qingyun and used the reincarnation domain to suppress Han Qingyun. Within the reincarnation domain, the spacetime collapsed and the energy of life and death rotated. A destructive storm swept out. Han Qingyun's face changed. It was difficult for him to defend against Night Sorrow's domain. While Han Qingyun was resisting the suppression of Yishang's domain, Yishang's blood-chilling evil slaying spear appeared. He used a spear technique he had learned from a great elder. The spear carried the reincarnation domain as it pierced through Han Qingyun's protective domain. It spun and poured into Han Qingyun's forehead, shattering his divine sea. After killing Han Qingyun, Night Sorrow withdrew his reincarnation domain. Everything quieted down. The only difference was that Han Qingyun had no signs of life. He hung weakly on Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. After taking Han Qingyun's storage ring and spear, Night Sorrow kicked Han Qingyun's corpse back to the camp of the Demon Wing clan. You guys have studied my battle style for more than 10 times. I thought you guys would be able to target me. In the end, you guys didn't make any progress. Don't be so arrogant. Yin Minglu from the realm of Nine Yin is here to fight you. A man with a cold face stepped out. Nine Yin family? When he heard the words realm of Nine Yin, Night Sorrow's body trembled. This might be related to some of Wu Feng's grudges. Looks like you know quite a lot. Yin Minglu walked out of the camp of the Demon Wing clan. Be careful, Minglu. Another man reminded him. He was the young master of the realm of Nine Yin in Xiaotian. The Nine Yin family was the royal family of the realm of Nine Yin. The Nine Yin family in the celestial realm was just a gate for them. They ruled over everything in the realm of Nine Yin. After the Yin Song record walked out, Night Sorrow felt an uncomfortable aura. It was an evil aura. He had felt this aura when he was healing Wufeng. I don't care who you are. You're some *T human emperor. If you dare to block the development of the realm of Nine Yin, you must die. Yin Minglu looked at Night Sorrow coldly. You insulted the human emperor. You're already a dead man. No one can save you today. The Grand Elder who was originally sitting stood up. Mo Zhantian didn't say anything, but he cursed in his heart. Yin Minglu insulted the human emperor, and the Grand Elder had a reason to kill him. It had nothing to do with the gentleman's battle. Mo Zhantian's attack was a chaotic battle. While Mo Zhantian was cursing, Yin Minglu had already attacked. He released the gray realm around him and attacked Night Sorrow. He saw that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful, so he didn't enter the area of suppression of Night Sorrow's realm. He attacked from a distance and used energy to attack Night Sorrow. He planned to wait for the energy of the Nine Yin family to invade Night Sorrow's body and affect his status. Then he would attack him in close combat. This was also the strategy that Mo Zhantian had taught him. After observing more than a dozen battles, Mo Zhantian realized that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful. His speed and close combat ability were also very strong. That was why he told Yin Minglu to attack from a distance to increase Night Sorrow's status. Only then would they have a chance to win. Yin Minglu knew Mo Zhantian's identity, so even if he was very confident, he still followed Mo Zhantian's strategy. Besides, he had seen Night Sorrow kill Han Qingyun with his own eyes. He was already cautious. The energy of the Nine Yin family was very strong. Night Sorrow's realm of destruction couldn't block it. His body was already corroded by the energy. Chapter 2103. It was very evil and domineering. When Night Sorrow realized how difficult it was to deal with the Nine Yin energy, he immediately activated the virtuous immortal body and enveloped the evil energy. In fact, even if he did not do that, the Nine Yin energy would not be able to break his body. Night Sorrow's body had entered the Emperor Tribulation realm with the space-time energy, and he also had the strength of the Emperor Tribulation realm. In other words, even if he stood there and let the Emperor Tribulation and the Emperor Tribulation cultivate, it would be very difficult to break his defense. It should be said that before the energy in his body was exhausted, it would not break his defense. After using the energy in his body to envelop the Nine Yin energy, Night Sorrow was not in a hurry to expel it from his body. Instead, he continued to observe Yin Song Record's strength, because he could understand the world of Nine Yin through Yin Song Record. The world of Nine Yin was destined to become enemies with the 100 races of the celestial realm in the future. The battle continued. Night Sorrow moved his feet and dodged Yin Song Record's continuous slashes. However, as Yin Song Record continued to attack, more and more gray energy appeared in Night Sorrow's domain, and it continued to corrode Night Sorrow's body. After spinning and slashing 1,000 times at Night Sorrow, Yin Song Record raised his saber in the air. You don't know what's good for you. 1,000 slashes into one kill. As Song Record slashed down with his saber, the wind and clouds stirred up. The energy in the saber he had just sent out all gathered together, and slashed at Night Sorrow with a whistling momentum. Powerful. Song Record's saber was very powerful. At that moment, Night Sorrow's aura changed. He turned into a spear that stood between heaven and earth, and then his body became illusory. Song Record's saber slashed at Night Sorrow's body, but there was no trace of blood. Night Sorrow used the space-time realm and entered the alternate space. Then he appeared in the celestial realm again. Because he was so fast, it was difficult for anyone to discover the secret behind it. Song Record did not understand what was going on when his saber missed. However, the battle could not stop, so his body flashed and charged at Night Sorrow. Samsara Domain. Night Sorrow's body trembled as the Samsara Dao Domain charged forward, charging into Ming Record's Dao Domain, and into Ming Record's body. The high-grade Samsara Dao Domain and energy were far from what Ming Record could contend with. Instantly, the energy within Ming Record's body turned chaotic. At the critical moment, the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in Night Sorrow's right hand pierced through the void and directly entered Cry Record's head, piercing through Cry Record's divine sea and shattering it. Not bad, but you don't have the right to boast that you can kill me. Night Sorrow put away the saber and storage ring. He didn't succeed in killing you, but you're also crippled. The 9 energy entered your body. Even if you survive, your meridians will be destroyed, and your cultivation will be gone. Xiaotian stood up. Oh, it's that serious? I didn't even notice it. Night Sorrow turned around and walked back to Tianhuang City's camp. As he waved his left arm, a gray energy appeared in the air. Then Night Sorrow clenched his left hand, and the energy was compressed in his palm by Night Sorrow before he threw it into a bottle. Xiaotian was stunned. Xiaotian was stunned for a moment. He naturally recognized that the ball of energy was the 9 energy that Song Record had injected into Night Sorrow's body. You think you can trick me? You're still too naive, but I'm certain of the 9 family's status in the world of 9. Night Sorrow turned around and cast a glance at Xiaotian. Damn you! I'll definitely kill you. Xiaotian felt a little embarrassed after being scolded by Night Sorrow. That's what he said just now. Night Sorrow replied and returned to his camp. Then he lowered his head and thought about the characteristics of the 9 family's energy. He no longer paid attention to anyone else. The Imperial Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wing clan's camp kept roaring and taunting him, but Night Sorrow ignored them. He was in a state of cultivation. The Grand Elder waved his arm, and an energy barrier appeared, blocking the Demon Wing clan's harassment of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's main body and his clone studied the energy at the same time. He understood that the 9 energy was also a combination of energy. It was the extreme side of the 7 ordinary elements, and when combined with the side of the death and space elements, it was the 9 energy. All the elements had 2 sides. Wind had extreme wind and extreme yang wind. Fire had extreme flames and extreme yang flames. In the world of 9, the 9 family combined the negative elements of the 9 elements to form the extremely evil 9 energy. This was also the reason why Wu Feng was still troubled by the evil energy even after becoming a monarch. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow's power of virtue, he wouldn't have been able to recover. After studying it for a while, Night Sorrow found that it was very helpful to him, so he began to cultivate. This cultivation lasted for half a month. His main body and his clone accelerated their cultivation for half a month. During this half a month, Night Sorrow was in a state of enlightenment. When he woke up from his state of enlightenment, he felt pretty good. The limitless attribute required a combination of hardness and gentleness, as well as the coexistence of yin and yang. After understanding the 9 energy, Night Sorrow's limitless attribute directly increased by 10%. His other precept domains also increased by quite a bit. Haha. Very good, this is the kind of battle I need. Who wants to fight? Let's fight again. Night Sorrow walked out of the camp with the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in his right hand. At this time, the Grand Elder also withdrew the barrier. Mo Zhantian waved his hand, stopping his subordinates from accepting the challenge. He found that Night Sorrow had advanced again. If he didn't make arrangements, sending more people would die. Domain Lord, I've killed 7 people in the past few days, Xiao Gu said from behind Night Sorrow. Very good. If they don't fight, I'll send them back. If they want to fight but don't have the courage, they won't be able to do anything. Remember, if they're afraid today, they won't be able to straighten their backs in front of you in the future. Look carefully, they're all trash. Every single one of them is trash. Night Sorrow turned around and pointed at the devil-winged clan members one by one. Finally, he pointed at Emojantian. Brat, you dare. Emojantian roared at Night Sorrow. You think I don't dare to talk to you? Tianhuang City is right in front of you, but you don't dare to attack. They're all trash, and you're a big piece of trash. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of Emojantian at all. Maybe he's right. Tianhuang City is right there. If you want to prove something, then go ahead and attack. Night Sorrow, let's go back. The Grand Elder pulled Night Sorrow back to the camp. He was also worried that Emojantian would suddenly attack. No, maybe. He's a big piece of trash. At this time, an energy body appeared above the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It was King Yawu. At this time, King Yawu was extremely domineering. Although he was an energy body, the energy waves on his body were constantly rippling, repelling the Nirvana storm. /3GH version Z. Looking at King Yawu's figure, Emojantian's right hand loosened and tightened, wavering between fighting and not fighting. Don't suppress it. If you want to fight, you can fight anytime. Ha! Big piece of trash, that's a good name. It suits you. King Yawu laughed. Yawu, do you think you'll win for sure? Then you're wrong. Today, I won't fight you. Not because I'm afraid of you, but because I'm not strong enough. Emojantian suppressed his desire to fight. He really wanted to fight, but the situation didn't allow it. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.